Jesus is real, but you devils taught lies on Christ. So many lies that when we come with the truth, people think that the lies is the truth and that the truth is the lie.
Who changed the truth for God into a lie? In English, Jesus Christ, in Hebrew, is Yahweh Shai. So do or die. The Immaculate Conception is deception, along with the myth of giving gifts on December 25th. Christmas is Satan's claws, the birth of Nimrod, and not the Son of God. To you was kinda odd. On the Passover, Christ was born in the spring. So now we bring the truth about the King of Kings. That's Black Jesus and not Caesar Borgias. And the facts can't be changed.
It's all about the Most High, it's all about Yahweh Shai, it's all about the Most High, it's all school addresses here in San Antonio, Albuquerque. If you got any cars, clothes, books, canned goods, anything that'll help the learning, educational process of your people, anything that'll help feed the homeless, clothe the homeless, clothe people that need clothes, give rides, transportation, and anything like that. Anything that you think a school would need to function or a charitable operation would need to function, send that to us, especially books, the older the better, dictionaries, thesauruses, etymology books, all that, the older the better. Please send those to any of the school locations, and or you can hit us on the email, let us know it's coming. That would be beautiful. We appreciate that big time. If it's money, you can send it to the school account, the ISBHBK account, Israelite School of Biblical History and Practical Knowledge at Wells Fargo, account number 101-580-6167. All right. And you can send it Google Wallet. We got Google Wallet at isbhbk@gmail.com. That's isbhpk@gmail.com. All right. So we got a lot of ways for you to get a hold of us. There's going to be no excuse. Before we open up class and continue on with this second Esdras breakdown, does anybody got any questions? Just talk. I can't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was Isaiah 26 and 19.
Mm-hmm.
When he said that dead men shall live to go. You want me to just read it?
Nah, we're gonna start up.
You said what?
We're gonna start up. Start from verse 1.
Okay.
So the question is on Isaiah chapter 26, verse 19. For those of you online, if you couldn't hear, question is on Isaiah 26, verse 19. And we're going to start at verse 1 just to get clarification, get a little context. All right? And see what the scripture is talking about. Well, go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 26 and verse 1. In that day shall this song be sung in the land of Judah. We have a strong city, salvation, where Yahweh appoint for walls and bulwarks. Keep going.
Go ahead.
Verse 2.
So let's talk about the last times when the Most High delivers us. The song's going to be sung in Judah that salvation has come to us, right? We have a strong city, salvation, where the Most High appointed for walls and bulwarks. All right, so he's going to protect us with his salvation. He's going to save us his way. Go ahead.
Verse 2. Open ye the gates, that the righteous nation which keepeth the truth may enter in. Verse 3. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusteth in thee. 4. Trust ye in the Lord forever, for in the Lord Yahweh is everlasting strength. 5. For he bringeth down them that dwell on high, the lofty city he layeth it low. He layeth it low even to the ground. He bringeth it even to the dust.
So going along with what we're going over in Esdras, this lofty city, the proud city, he's going to bring down America. So this is after America's burnt to a crisp. All right? Go ahead.
Verse 6. The foot shall tread it down, even the feet of the poor, and the steps of the needy. Verse 7. The way of the just is uprightness. Thou most upright, thus weigh the path of the just.
So he's going to make this place a doormat. He said even the poor is going to walk over this place. All right? He said the way of the just is uprightness, thou most upright, thus weigh the path of the just. Go ahead.
Verse 8. Yea, in the way of thy judgments, O Lord, have we waited for thee. The desire of our soul is to thy name and to the remembrance of thee.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 9. With my soul have I desired thee in the night. Yea, with my spirit within me will I seek thee early.
So this is Isaiah's personal prayer. This is Isaiah speaking. All right? This is his personal prayer. Sometimes you see it, they start saying something and they just drop right in and pray. That's how he did it. David used to do it. That's what all the Psalms are. Moses did it. Miriam did it. Mary did it. All through the scriptures, you see it just break off into prayers. It was like a Disney musical, but with prayer. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
For when thy judgments are in the earth, the inhabitants of the world will learn righteousness. Verse 10. Let favor be showed to the wicked.
Right, so for those of y'all saying the laws will be done away with, read that last scripture again.
Verse 10. Let favor be showed to the wicked.
But before that.
Oh, sorry. Start from the top of verse 9. Mm-hmm. With my soul have I desired thee in the night. Yea, with my spirit within me will I seek thee early.
Right.
For when thy judgments are in the earth.
When thy judgments are in the earth, he's talking to the Most High. Thy judgments, your commandments.
The inhabitants of the world will learn righteousness.
That's how they're going to learn righteousness, through the Most High's judgments. The ones he gave to Israel, the ones David was talking about in Psalm 78 and 5 and Psalms 147 verse 19 and 20. All right? The commandments, he's going to give those back to us in the last days when America's burnt to a crisp. So that's what we're going to go back to learn righteousness. Because we're going to be filthy with America's ways. Y'all see that? Niggas going to be thinking they can get tongue rings, eyebrow piercings, right? Septum rings, nipple rings. The house going to be like, no, sir. That's not coming in the gates. Y'all see that? The righteousness is going to be reestablished. They're going to be thinking they can go back to eat pork and everything like that. No. No, sir. That's not how it's going to go. The Most High's judgments are going to stand in the last days. Go ahead.
Verse 10. Let favor be showed to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. In the land of uprightness will he deal unjustly, and will not behold the majesty of the Lord. Verse 11. Lord, when thy hand is lifted up, they will not see, but they shall see and be ashamed for their envy at the people. Yea, the fire of thine enemies shall devour them.
Right, so he's like, let favor be shown to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. So you can like the wicked all you want. You can love your favorite rap star. You can love the damn president if you want to, but he ain't gonna learn righteousness. He's wicked as hell. That's what it's showing you. You could like them all you want, but if they're wicked, that was another class I was gonna make too. But there's a difference between being wicked and being a sinner. Y'all gotta know that. All right. The wicked know the commandments. The wicked know the will of the Most High and do the direct opposite on purpose. You understand? The wicked is those niggas you see on Facebook that keep their Hebrew name but talk about how many dudes they've been with that week and their dudes. You understand? The wicked are the ones that, yeah, I know I ain't with that Hebrew Israelite life no more. I'm stripping now. That's the wicked. Those are the ones that are like, I'm totally turned against that, and now I'm going to do things I know that they teach against. Y'all see that? Then you got the nations, the other nations, who've heard the word of the Most High, but they're like, nah, my Jesus ain't going to be black. I'm not going to serve y'all niggas. Right? I'm still going to continue doing wickedly. I know what the scriptures say. I know it's wrong to kill people. I know it's wrong to take people's land. But that's what I'm going to do because it makes me money. That's a wicked person. All right? We're not talking about a sinner. I ate pork yesterday. Dang, man, I ended up going back on my girl. We slept together, but I don't want to deal with her no more. And now she's crazy. That's a sinner. That's a person that is trying to they got right, they messed up. The wicked, yeah, I went back with my girl and your girl and the one down the street. Yeah, I know what the Bible says. Screw that. Y'all see that? That's the wicked. All right, they're the ones that make songs about it. And, you know, R. Kelly in the closet, you know, they try to glorify it and make it look like it's sexy. That's wicked. Y'all see that? All right, just to make sure that's clear. So he said, you can favor the wicked all you want, but they ain't going to turn and do righteousness just because you love them. All right? They're like, oh, God hates the sin and loves the sinner. No. He said, you can like the sinner all you want. You can like that wicked person all you want, but he ain't going to do a rightness. It said, in the land of uprightness, he will deal unjustly. See that? So when there's righteousness in the land, when people are trying to do right, this person's still going to be being a nigga. Go ahead.
Verse 12. The Lord, thou wilt ordain peace for us. For thou hast
Verse 11.
Verse 11. Lord, when thy hand is lifted up, they will not see, but they shall see and be ashamed for their envy at the people.
See, he's still talking about the wicked. When your hand is lifted up, when you on top, when Christ is reigning, there's still going to be some wicked nations around. This is talking about he nuked America. There's still going to be wicked nations on the planet. Russia's still going to be there. Japan and a lot of these other wicked nations are still going to be there. That's where afterward we go assemble as armies, and he's going to send us around to get all these other nations in order. But America's going to be destroyed. That's where you read about it in Obadiah. There ain't going to be none remaining of the house of Esau. His whole house of cards is going down. Right? Go ahead.
Yea, the fire of thine enemies shall devour them.
Go ahead.
Verse 12. Lord, thou wilt ordain peace for us, for thou also hast wrought all our works in us.
Right. So he's going to make our place peaceful, our ways peaceful. Go ahead.
Verse 13. O Lord, our power, other lords besides thee have had dominion over us.
Right. We don't have 40-some presidents, 45, 46 presidents. Then we've had all these lords over us. We had governors, mayors, police. You had all these congressmen and everything like that. We've all had all these lords over us. Right? Go ahead.
But by thee only will we make mention of thy name.
See that? But we only going to be mentioning the name of the Most High. We ain't going to be talking about President nobody. Go ahead.
Verse 14. They are dead, they shall not live. They are deceased, they shall not.
What's going to happen to Trump?
They are dead, they shall not live.
What's going to happen to Obama?
They are dead, they shall not live.
Your Lord and Savior, you Negroes, Lord and Savior, Barack Obama.
They are dead, they shall not live.
They're not going to live. Go ahead.
They are deceased, they shall not rise.
There you go. They ain't coming back either. Go ahead.
Therefore hast thou visited and destroyed them, and made all their memory to perish.
Ain't gonna be no Lincoln Monument, no Barack Library, no Clinton skate park. That's gone. They ain't gonna have no memory. Go ahead.
Verse 15. Thou hast increased the nation, O Lord. Thou hast increased the nation. Thou art glorified. Thou hast removed it far unto all the ends of the earth. Verse 16.
So we're talking about Israel. He's increased us. He removed us in all the places of the earth, but he increased us in all those places. We multiplied in all those places, and now he's gathering us together. Go ahead.
Verse 15. Verse 16. Lord, in trouble have they visited thee. They poured out a prayer when thy chastening was upon them.
So when is Israel finally going to wake up, man? Read it again.
Lord, in trouble have they visited thee.
See, we think Facebook's going to do it. We're going to unite all the brothers and sisters through Facebook. We're going to unite all the brothers and sisters by a peaceful demonstration. Y'all brothers got to understand this. We go out there and give them flyers, man, for y'all to sharpen y'all swords. It gathers a few people, right? Here and there. They come in, pop in. But the flyers, the street speaking, the cable shows, the YouTubes, all this stuff like that, right? And it trickles in like a couple of brothers and sisters here and there, right? Because what's going to gather our people together, what's going to snap them the hell awake, is when he really whoops their ass, man. When he really starts putting that whooping down, man. When times get so hard, it's going to be more police shootings, man. It's going to be more obvious ones, too. They're going to be like, F you, nigger, pow, and shoot him right in the face on camera. Put it on every news channel, and he's still going to get off not guilty. It's going to be one of Barack's kids. It's going to be one of your favorite black man on TV's kids. It's going to be Steve Harvey's kids. They're going to blast their damn face open on TV. It's going to be somebody you love, and you're going to be mourning them. You're going to be, a whole nation of mourning. Why is this happening to us? When everybody starts waking up, and seeing the Most High is the one whooping our ass, and he's the only one that can save us. Because you still got proud Negroes thinking I got a dude try to post on my Facebook already today on some post I made, but he talking about like, I'm ex-military, I can train brothers and stuff like that. Like, train them to do what? Like we talked about with the Esdras class just on Wednesday. What we gonna train and do? We're gonna fight America. We got our army together, a bunch of niggas that can't shoot straight, shooting sideways with their pants sagging, right? We got all of them together, taught them how to shoot this way, right? They've been training their daughter since she was 2 years old to hunt with damn bows and arrows, guns, bazookas, tanks, right? They hunting damn sparrows with tanks. Know how to shoot them out of the sky at 100 cities away. And you got a 9. You got your favorite gun that your favorite rapper was talking about, chrome-plated. But we all gathered together, and we gonna fight against America, right? Cool. Then Putin's gonna hear over there, oh, they killing my little butt buddy, Trump. They trying to go against my little butt buddy, Trump. So guess what's gonna happen? You start the war with America, Russia's joining in, then Russia joins in, and guess who else is gonna join in? China's joining in. Korea's gonna drop some bombs behind them. Everybody that hated America, it's all gonna come out like a bad ex-wife. All the dirt's gonna come out, all the real feelings are gonna come out. It's gonna be Maury Povich with nuclear weapons. Jerry Springer with nuclear weapons, right? All the feelings is going to come out violently. That's what's going to happen. The Most High is going to be whooping our tails so bad that we're going to all finally call upon him. That's how it's going to be. And just like we did in Egypt, it took all those butt whoopings for us to finally cry to the Most High as a unit, as a nation. That's what's going to happen. So all that, you gonna rise up, you a ninja warrior, ex-military, you gonna hide in the bushes and shoot cops, and they don't care. They put them cops out there as cannon fodder to wait for you to come out. That's another topic. Go ahead. Let's get to the point.
Verse 16, last precept. They poured out a prayer when thy chastening was upon them. Verse 17.
So we're going to pour out a prayer. We're going to pour out prayers. It ain't going to be no more, oh, no, I'm an Egyptologist. No, I serve the Most High. It ain't going to be no more, I'm Catholic, I'm stuck in the Baha'i faith. You know what I mean? I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, Jehovah's Witness. No. You're going to be serving the Most High. You're going to be you're going to cry to Yahweh in Hebrew. Go ahead.
Verse 17. Like as a woman with child that draweth near the time of her delivery, is in pain and crieth out in her pangs, so have we been in thy sight, O Lord.
See that? That's how it's going to be. In his sight, we're going to look like we just crying out in pain, like we've been waiting to deliver a baby, man. Like, please get this off of me. Please get these wiggers off of me, man. Please get Trump off my back. Please get these cops off of me. Somebody. Y'all see that? Go ahead.
Verse 18. We have been with child. We have been in pain. We have, as it were, brought forth wind. We have not brought any deliverance in the earth. Neither have the inhabitants of the world fallen. Verse 19. Thy dead men shall live. Together with my dead body shall they arise.
So this is Isaiah. He's saying they're going to arise with my dead body.
Okay.
Y'all see that? Now go to, it's Matthew, I think, 24. Make sure. Oh, Matthew 24. Wow, oh man. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 16.
First Thessalonians chapter 4 and verse 16.
So Isaiah and all the prophets, they all had this hope and they all had this knowledge that you don't just stay dead, you reincarnate, or in this case, You see it all through the scriptures. You know, there was an army of men. They came in, ransacked Israel. One of their men died. They threw him on the bones of Elisha on accident, and the man rose up from the dead. Not Elisha, but the man that touched his bones. Y'all see that? So that's the power these prophets had. The spirit that was on them, man, could bring these weaker men back to life from their dead bodies. But yeah, 1 Thessalonians 4. Start 15. Yeah, start at 15.
1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 15. But this we say unto you by the word of the Lord, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord shall not prevent them which are asleep.
Right. See, we which are alive when Christ comes, we're not going to stop them that are asleep, the ones that are dead. Like we talked about in Solomon, right? We're not going to be able to stop them from coming out the graves. You're not going to be able to stop Isaiah from coming back. Y'all see that? This is what they think when they try to ransack the Holy Land and find. They try to find these people's bones. They try to find these artifacts and all this stuff like that. They try to find these prophets. They want to lock them up probably in some cave somewhere, in some steel vaults in a mountain. So these prophets can't come back and start calling down fire from heaven, like it says they're going to do in Revelations. Y'all see that? They don't want these things to happen. Esau knows a lot more than you think, man. When you think they're going over there and they just digging in the ground for artifacts, like really? They really been digging around all that time and trying to blow up parts of mountains and using them little picks and brushes for 100+ years because they looking for Hezekiah's toilet seat? Nah, they're looking for these prophets' bones, man. They're looking for Moses' bones. They're looking for Elisha's bones. They're looking for these ways to get this life they think that they're gonna get carnally. You understand? Don't let them fool you, man. He said that we that are alive, we're not going to be able to prevent them that are asleep. We're not going to be able to stop Isaiah from coming back. Go ahead.
Verse 16. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout.
Christ going to come from heaven with a shout. The whole earth going to shake on it. Go ahead.
With the voice of the archangel.
Right.
And with the trump of Yahweh.
Right.
And the dead.
Not Donald Trump. Stop it. Got some dummy across the nation talking about this is Donald Trump. He's the last Trump. Like, what was the first Trump? What the hell are you talking about? How many other Trumps we have running America? He's the only Trump we had. That ain't the Trump we're looking for. We're waiting for the trumpet, all right? The sound of the Most High, that sound that's going to happen that you read about in Revelations. When you see them vials being poured and you hear them trumpets and that destruction that follows, that's your sign. They are signs. They're not damn trumpets. I mean, they're not Donald Trump. Excuse me. Go ahead.
And the dead in the Mashiach shall rise first.
See, the dead in Christ shall rise first. People like Isaiah, Elijah, Elisha, the ones that have been waiting for the coming of Hamashiach, those are the ones that are going to rise first, man. Those ones that were waiting to see his coming, Esdras, all these brothers are going to rise first. They're going to be the first ones out the grave. We ain't going to be able to stop them. America ain't going to be able to stop them. China ain't going to be able to stop them. Nobody's going to be able to keep them and prevent them and keep them in the ground. You understand? All right. Just so y'all follow. So go back.
19 at the top.
Yeah. Go back to Isaiah.
Isaiah chapter 26, verse 19.
Thy
dead men shall live. Together with my dead body shall they arise.
See, so he's talking about himself. So they're going to arise with his dead body. All right? So he knew he was going to die. But even though he was going to die, he was going to rise up. Now, if you know about how Isaiah died, I believe he's the one that he was running from the enemy. He hid up in a tree, and they saw the tree and had to cut him in half. That dead body's going to come back up. Both parts. All right? You ain't going to be able to stop it. Go ahead.
Awake and sing ye that dwell in the dust. For thy dew is as the dew of herbs, and the earth shall cast out the dead.
Right, see, That's all that's all we just read in 1 Thessalonians. The dead in Christ will be rising. Y'all see that? Go ahead.
Verse 20. Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself as it were for a little moment, until the indignation be overpassed.
Right. So he's gonna hide us from his wrath while he's slaughtering the rest of the people. All right. So you got that?
God.
All right. So yeah, the question was on Isaiah. What is it?
26 and 19.
26 verse 19. Who's that dead body, right?
Well, I was wondering because when he said, I figured it was resurrection, but when he said, he kind of threw me off when he said, with my dead body. So I'm thinking like, I don't think he's prophesying by Yahushua. Yahushua isn't dead. I was wondering if he was literally talking about himself.
Yeah, he's talking about himself. All right. Any other questions? We got any online? No questions online? Okay. Anybody in class got any other questions? I got here Connor Law. I can't see no other. Sorry.
John 1 and 13.
St. John 1 verse 13. All right. Clifton, Shalom, good to see you too. Not Clifton, that's Nahar, right? Let's see. Mustafa, good to see you again, brother. Shalom. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us, Dottie. All right. Let's see. What else we got? Oh, right. The time of Jacob's trouble. Jeremiah 30, verse 7. Right. Yeah, that's what it's going to take. It's going to take Jacob being in real trouble, man. Which is where you hear us calling people Jake from. All right? So it is biblical. It's just a short, abbreviated term. It's like saying Judah instead of Judah. Don't cry over it. All right? There's people that don't like that. They want everything you say to be a biblical word. Like everything they say is a biblical word. Yeah. Your question was on which one?
John 1 and 13.
St. John 1 verse 13. Let's go there.
St. John chapter 1 verse 13.
Well, you might want to start at 12 because it's explaining it. So you want to start at 12?
Read 13 real quick. Then we'll go out.
Which were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of Yahweh.
Okay. What's your question?
Well, I just got maybe a little confused over who he was talking about.
Oh, okay. So start up.
12. St. John chapter 1 verse 12. But as many as received him, to them.
Talking about Christ. As many as received Christ. All right. Remember, you started St. John 1 and 1. We're talking about Christ. Right? So as many as received Christ, so when he came down, as many as received him, the 12 apostles, the secret 70, the brothers and sisters that were listening to him, the Pharisee that came to see him by night, the ones that actually received it, even the Samaritan woman at the well that brought all the other men with her, right? As many as received him and didn't reject him and try to stone him, go ahead.
To them gave he power to become the sons of Yahweh.
See, to them, the ones that really received him in his life, the way he was going to do things and was going to live that life after him, all the 12 apostles, right? He gave them power to do what?
Become sons of Yahweh.
So, there it is. That's one thing showing you that the angels aren't necessarily, the sons of God don't necessarily mean angels all the time. All right? He's talking about the apostles here, right? So he gave the apostles power to become sons of God. Go ahead.
Even to them that believe on his name. Verse 13. Which were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh.
Right. So what he's saying is, it wasn't because of their birth as Hebrew Israelites. It wasn't because of their genetic heritage. You understand? Go ahead.
Nor of the will of man,
right?
But of Yahweh.
Nor because some man elected them to be over Israel, right? Oh, we want these guys to be the apostles. We voted. We took a vote, and we want Peter and Matthew and Bartholomew. We want y'all to be apostles. We voted. This year's election, you're going to be the apostles. That's not what it was. It wasn't by the will of man, and it wasn't because of how noble their birth was. All right? Go ahead.
But of Yahweh. And it's verse 14.
No, read it again.
Verse 13. Which were born not of blood.
Not of blood.
Nor of the will of the flesh.
Right. They were Jews. They were Hebrews by blood. But that's not why he called them. No, nor of the will of man. He didn't get pressured into it by man, like or bribed into making them apostles, right? Go ahead.
Nor of the will of the flesh.
Nor of the will of the flesh, not because Christ willed it himself. Go ahead.
Nor of the will of man.
Right.
But of Yahweh.
Right. Y'all see that? So it was the Most High's will to choose those men. All right. That's why when you read St. John 17, he's telling you, all these that you have given me, I have kept them all. I haven't lost one, right? I have all those except for the one, the son of perdition. Y'all see that? So all these were given to him by the Most High. They were chosen by the Most High. What's that?
I was going to say, I remember in the scripture too, in the Gospels, when he told the scribes and Pharisees, think not to basically say that I'm of Abraham's seed, because he can raise up, when he talks about the flesh, he can raise up the seed from Abraham on some, I think from rocks. I'm paraphrasing. I can't remember exactly, but he talks about the flesh. Think it's like not of flesh or not of blood, because that really don't mean nothing at the end of the day, because he came to his own, they didn't receive him, so
yeah,
it's whoever receives him.
There you go. There you go. All right. And these are the same type we were reading about also in Isaiah that you brought us to. The ones that have been crying for the Most High. They've been waiting for Christ like a woman in travail. Man. The Ezekiel 9:4, the ones that have been sighing and crying for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. They all their lives, just like brothers and sisters today, all their life been sighing and crying and knowing that the ways of America is wrong. Y'all see that? So he marks you from birth. All right? So these types, he gave them power to become the sons of God. They've been waiting on him, right? And they weren't born of just man's will or anything like that. The Most High chose them. These are the Jeremiah 1 verse 5 people, right? Before I formed you in the belly, I knew you, and I ordained you to be a prophet to the nations. All right? What's that?
My question is this, on what you said about, they were given unto him, those that were, but some of those might have dropped off, just like, we are called here, and some have dropped off and left, so how could he say that they were given to him and he holds them if they left?
Many are called, but few are chosen.
So these are just the chosen that he's talking about.
Remember, Paul was like, man, I wish that all men could be saved, right? You think the Most High is looking at them like these are the creation of Christ. Christ made all of these people, white, black, or otherwise, right? But here's the problem. Why was he going down in the Old Testament saying, go and destroy the sinners, the Amalekites? Go and destroy the sinners, so-and-so, right? He would tell them to go wipe out a whole nation because they were sinners, because they had turned their whole back as a nation against him. Y'all see that? Or you'd have places like Egypt where Egypt was still serving the Most High at the time of Abraham. You see that? So, yeah, there was a lot of nations that served him. There's going to be a lot of nations that serve him at that time. Right? But what are we looking at? The ones that he gave to Christ specifically, and he gave positions, just like he gave Judas a position, right? But Judas rejected the position. So what happened? We talked about this a few weeks back. In Acts, it said, let his bishopric let another man take. Acts chapter 1, right? And in Psalms. So what happened? That position was still there, but the man had to go. You see that? So he take that spirit, put it on another, like he did with Elijah and Elisha. He took that spirit, doubled it, gave it to Elisha, right? That position had to be filled. So yeah, you don't lose none of those positions.
Right. Okay.
But that man might be lost. That man might reject it. You see that? All right. That's why he said many are called, but few are chosen. He calls all. You know what I mean? His cry is to the sons of man. You know what I mean? He says that he's calling all Israel to be saved. But who's going to make it? 1/3. All right? That's going to be through their own choice, their own will.
Does that kind of go with Jude, where it says many are, because she was saying basically like the people that heard it, just like they heard it and then they put it away. They go with that Jude where it says many have crept in like unaware.
It's Matthew 13, man. You got many that, they heard the word by the wayside.
Oh, yeah.
It just bounced off their ears. They didn't want to hear it. Then you got some where it got into them. They understood it, but they were like, I'm not about that life. You got some that grew up in it, were living it, and then it just got too hard for them. They didn't prepare their spirit for temptation, and they left. And then you got ones that they bear fruit. Man. They grew up in it. They stayed with it. They were rooted. They bear fruit. They brought in brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? Help plant, help water, help other brothers and sisters grow. Started camps. Those are the ones that are going to succeed in. You understand? But it's a hard road, man. It's a very hard road, so very few people make it. All right? It ain't Joel Osteen's church, I'll tell you that. All right? I can tell you from living the life, it is not the Joel Osteen life, man. You're not every day going to be wanting to wake up and the birds are chirping, you come out of your $20 million mansion and just, whose money can I get today? Right? Nah, it's hell. It's hell on earth. But the reward is what you're looking for. You understand? All right, y'all with me? Okay. Okay. Where we at? You finished that? So did that answer your question? All right, good. Let's see, you got any others?
The sister that asked what your name is, sir.
Wow. Why askest thou my name, seeing that it is secret? No, I'm just my name's Thao Mayum. Alright. I've been on hiatus for a little while, but I can't let Satan stop me, so I'm back. So that's it? Cool. Y'all ready for this? Alright, we gotta go. We're gonna finish up 2nd Esdras 11.
We have left off at verse 25.
Verse 25, you said?
No, we left off at verse 40. That's the last note I had. We left off at verse 40.
Yeah, we were pretty far into it, right? Well, we were jumping around. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So let's pick up on verse 41 and 42. So if you haven't read 2nd Esdras chapter 11, go ahead, you can read it. All right, catch up with us. We just did part of the breakdown of it Wednesday. All right, 2nd Esdras breakdown, right? That's what it's called. 2nd Esdras chapter 11 and 12 breakdown. So you can check that out. If you want, if you can, you can put the link to that. That'll get you caught up. And then you can pick up with us on this class too, or you can just listen here and recap some other time. Either way is good. But up until this time, we've been reading about this crazy dream that Esdras was having. And he has this dream with a 3-headed eagle coming out of the sea with 12 feathers. And then 8 more feathers grow out from those 12 feathers. But they come against those 12 feathers and make the 12 feathers small, right? And then one of the heads decides to wake up and then tell the other ones to go to sleep, and then the other one wake up. We're having this weird vision, this weird imagery is being put in your head And so we're breaking that down and explaining what that means. All right, we're getting the interpretation of this dream through the scriptures. It's all in there, and through history. All right. So where are we picking up at?
Verse 41. Or you want to start back at verse 40 from the top?
We'll start at 41 and 42.
Second Esdras chapter 11, verse 41. For the earth hast thou not judged with truth. 42. For thou hast afflicted the meek, thou hast hurt the peaceable.
So this is talking to that fourth beast. All right, he's talking to the fourth beast that you hear about in Daniel chapter 7. The fourth beast is America. All right, it's the last greatest Edomite empire, the strongest of the Edomite empires, the so-called white man's empires. All right, the voice is being told to him, the commandments being given to him that listen, you dealt deceitfully the whole time you reigned. So if you ever question, is America the good guys? Hell no. Are they G.I. Joe? Hell no. Are they U.S. SEAL Team 6? Hell no. Are they any of the good guys that you saw in the movies? Are they John Wayne? Who else? Green Berets? Are they any of that crap you saw on TV? Hell no. That's not them. They was not the good guys in any war. They're not the good guys in any conflict. They have dealt deceitfully. The Most High has given you notice, so now that you read the scriptures, you know that fourth beast, there's nothing good about it. Not their politics, not their educational system, not even their religion. If they say in God we trust, they don't mean the God of the Bible. They mean gold, oil, and drugs. It's an acronym to them. You understand? That don't have nothing to do with Yahweh, the God of the Bible, the God of Israel. Go ahead.
Thou hast loved liars and destroyed the dwellings of them that brought forth fruit.
How do we know they love liars? Who is your president? This dude is a lying bastard. He can't tell the truth from one press conference to the next, man. You know what I mean? I never met Putin before in my life. Well, we got a picture of you and him hanging out with each other. We was in a fight. Well, it looked like y'all was hugging. He was trying to kill me. I don't know. We're like, what's wrong with this dude? But we found all the text messages and Twitter posts where you were talking about how much you love Putin and you guys are buddies from 1970 something. Like, when are you gonna stop lying? But y'all love him. Y'all voted for him.
He's a self-made man.
Right. Y'all love the self-made man. Y'all see that?
I just read an article. That's another lie.
What's that?
I just read an article. They was going into how he's not self-made. He inherited like $400 million from his dad.
There's that, yeah.
Yeah, he's not self-made at all. And then there's some other stuff I read. I can't remember though. I was reading it in between work. Like, man, he's trash garbage. Like, that's not what I'm saying.
He inherited $400 million. Then he used that name to go and make businesses that he went ahead and borrowed money against, and then bankrupted the businesses to get more money. He bankrupted 9 businesses. How the hell you bankrupt 9 times and you ain't broke? How the hell you bankrupt 9 times but they let you run a country? You apparently can't even run a business. But we love liars. Ain't that America? Y'all see that? Am I set it up? I don't know. Go ahead.
And has cast down the walls of such as did thee no harm.
Right. America cast down the walls of such as did them no harm. Show me another nation on the earth this fits. I mean, we still got all these brothers still saying Esau not the so-called white man. This kingdom ain't Esau. Well, okay, show me another kingdom that is casting down the walls of people that meant no harm to them. Vietnam wasn't doing nothing to America. You ain't met a Vietnamese person before or since that was coming over here trying to steal your freedom. Have you? I got Vietnamese people that own my house. They didn't try to steal my freedom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They make pho. That $5 bowl of pho, is that hurt your pockets? That's stealing your freedom? They trying to rape your woman? I mean, it ain't Vietnamese dudes shooting us in the streets, right? Nope. But, you know, if, again, like Job said, since you doubt, if not, where and who is he? If it ain't the so-called white man, if it ain't this country, then you find me a different one that's tearing down the walls of such as did them no harm, man. Going to all these other countries, invading, putting boots to the ground, putting boots up people's ass that didn't do nothing to you. As we go through this, you're going to see like Iran, Iraq, the Persian, what you would call the Persian and Media Empire. All right, this is what they're called now, Iran and Iraq. They have not been a world aggressor for 3,000 years. But all of a sudden, they want to terrorize us by blowing up 2 buildings. 2 buildings. That's how they're going to start a war. We're going to blow up 2 buildings. Oh, wait, sorry. They got the Pentagon, right?
Rough planes and stuff.
Right, they blew this giant plane-sized hole in the Pentagon that somehow only looks the size of a missile hit. Right, terrorists did that. And, you know, it destroyed everything, but we found their licenses and passports perfectly intact. Because of the flames of the plane burnt the steel beams of the towers and melted them. It disintegrated them to where we couldn't find no more of them, except in China, where they shipped them. You know, the passports, those are perfect. Not charred, not singed, not even warped. With their names clearly on them. We love liars, man. America loves liars. You love the hell out of liars, man. And they tell the stupidest lies and you swallow it whole, hook, line, and sinker, man. All these people crying about 9/11, man. I grieve for y'all families too, but I grieve for your stupidity. I grieve y'all didn't start a militia and go storm the White House and get in their ass for blowing up your kids and blowing up your husbands and blowing up your wives. That's pathetic. Where we at?
Verse 43.
Verse
43. Therefore is thy wrongful dealing come up unto the highest.
See, America's wrongful dealing is going to go up to the Most High, man. He's already seen it. He's been watching this. Go ahead.
And thy pride unto the mighty.
And your pride has gone up to the Most High. He's seen your pride, man. Go ahead.
Verse 44. The highest also hath looked upon the proud times, and behold, they are ended, and his abominations are fulfilled.
All right, so going back, we're showing what Edomites, America, is showing what they're doing now. All right? These are their actions that they're doing now. You got the Afghanistan problems that they started over there. The Persian Empire, we're bringing that out right now, right? The Persian Empire, they literally have not been an aggressor for over 3,000 years, man. Since they were known as the Persians and Medes. And we're talking about the movie 300. When niggas was dressing like that, that's the last time the Persians was trying to fight somebody. When cats was riding on horseback kicking people down pits and things like that, that's the last time the Persian and Mede Empire was an aggressor, man. But now all of a sudden they want your freedom. Now all of a sudden they want to blow up your towers and steal your freedom. Why did they stop at the towers? Why did they stop at the Pentagon? Where are the armies? Where are the Air Force? Where's the Navy? When did that happen? But they trying to start something? That's strange. So we gotta know what America's about, man. It said we love liars. It said they love liars. Because they exalt the presidents, they exalt these great men. And they give them power, they give them offices, they give them monuments, they give them libraries. You know what I mean? They make library cities the most lying of presidents, man. The most deceitful people on the planet. They make it like monuments to these people. make a monument to George Washington. This dude owned slaves. Well, he was the first president. That's a damn lie. There was 8 presidents before George Washington, man. You can't lie to us. Well, he never told a lie. That's a lie right there. He even chopped down a damn cherry tree. They said that was a myth. But yeah, one teeth. No, he didn't. It was gold and some other crap that was all up in his mouth. Like, tell some more. What else? He braved the Delaware River and win the Revolutionary War. No, he didn't. He lost 6 out of his 9 battles. Tell me some more, though. Tell me some more about this great winner, George Washington. Get the hell out of here, man. But he got a monument? He helped make America great. Yeah, America never been great, man. He helped rape and slaughter hundreds of millions of Indians. That don't sound great to me. Y'all see that? But this is who America upholds, man. This is what when it means when it says they love liars. This is what it's talking about, man. Where you at?
Verse 45.
45.
And therefore appear no more thou eagle, nor thy horrible wings, nor thy wicked feathers.
Where you at?
Verse 45.
Okay, so in verse 42, we got the words that said they brought forth, right?
Gone.
Brought forth fruit.
Gone.
Okay. All the nations that brought their natural resources, Esau has turned around and tried to destroy their nations. Their nations bring them wood, oil, drugs, gold, and Esau turned around and tried to blow them off the map, or give them sanctions, or tell them that they can't operate a certain way because they're not giving enough. Basically, it's like a whoremonger, man. They go in, they bang these nations out, and then they tell them, okay, I'm done with you. Y'all see that? They go over to countries like Venezuela, tap the oil out of them, or try to get the oil out of them. Oh, you ain't gonna let us in that way? Okay, we're gonna take it in the back door. Take all the oil out, drain you dry. And then now that we're done with you, before you can raise a stink about it, we're gonna shut down all the people that bring in food to your country. And we're gonna tell them stop buying food from you, buying natural resources from you. Now that we've taken everything we need, we out. Central America, right? Now that we've experimented on your people, now that we've done, we set up dole to buy out your whole country, so you can't even hardly grow pineapples in your backyard without Dole or Chiquita owning those pineapples. Now that we've tapped your country dry and set up corporations all across your country, we're done with you. We don't need you no more. So you're still a third world country, even though we're making billions of dollars off you. Look them up. Look up their dealings, man. Look up their holdings in every nation they are, man. They go in Nigeria. They tap the oil out. They ship all these ships and everything full of oil across the world, man. Now you go back to Nigeria, they didn't even sew up the pipelines, man. You go there, there's just some of the pipes just rusted and busted. Oil just dribbling all out into people's land. Not enough oil that they can, fill up a ship and get rich selling it. Just enough to pollute the land and destroy it. Y'all see that? Watch the news, man. Watch your world news. Watch those down low news. It's like the BBC and stuff like that.
Yeah, RT.
What is it?
RT, which is Russia Today. They just brought out somehow the U.S. poisoned 76 patients in Georgia, giving them vaccines and testing the vaccines on them. But Reuters, RT,
bit the bullet on that.
Press TV, those are all international news sources that are unbiased.
Reuters, RT,
Press TV, that's the Iranian news source. They bring all the field.
Yeah, they got another one, I think CRTV. That's where they put Alex Jones, right? Put him on CRTV. You gotta pay to watch him now. You want the truth, you gotta pay for it. But, you know, we're still free. But y'all got to watch these, man. They showing you all the dirt that America's doing that coincides with the scriptures. That's why people like Trump, people like these wicked, they go and own the news companies, and then they shut everybody out. They go on YouTube and shut all the people that's teaching the truth out because they're showing you how the scriptures are true.
And I was going to say, the military has done it to other military members here in the States and in South America. They were conducting all these experiments on Issachar down there that they kept undercover.
Yeah.
Okay, my brother found out about it, you know, and he was telling me about it. But not only that, the Judite veterans from World War I and World War II, when they came back, they were due benefits from being soldiers. They were being lynched because they did not want them to get those benefits. They were being lynched by the hundreds.
Wow.
If they wore a uniform, they took that risk of being lynched.
Just so they didn't have to pay out.
So they did not have to pay out.
Wow. That's Rome. That's some stuff you see on ancient Roman movies, right? But, you know, another thing is when you're looking at, what was it? Oh, Brazil, when they did the Olympics, right? They was mowing down people in the favelas. Right? There was all underground videos of people getting shot up by military forces at their house. Right? It wasn't like they weren't going to war or nothing like that. It was clearing out the favelas, clearing out the poor people, killing them, throwing them in mass graves, just to clear it out for the Olympics. And it was beautiful that the damn symbol of what America does went down during the Olympics. That dude went down there, raped that girl, or tried to rape somebody, beat the hell out of him or something like that. They caught him, and all they did was just ship him back. Like, we go ahead, rape your country, this is what we do. We're even going to symbolize it with an Olympic medalist. He's going to rape one of yours, and we ain't going to lock him up. We just going to take him back. That's exactly what the scriptures are showing you. They go and they do these things. They let these nations bring forth fruit for them. They rape the hell out of them, and then they just leave them like, okay, we're done with you. Because go back to Brazil now. It's still in the same conditions it was before the Olympics got there, man. Yeah. All that money the Olympics brought to that country. And they still in the same conditions, man. It still got favelas, still got military killing civilians. Still broke, still getting beat down in the streets, man. There were people getting their brains bashed in, like face just exploded all over the ground. Natives. People have been there, their families been there for millennia. What's that?
I was going to say, when it says God's love liars, it's common knowledge and news now that America funds ISIS. But you got these stupid jarheads that will sit here and tell you they're going to Afghanistan to fight ISIS. But every time Russia gets the drop on ISIS and they bomb ISIS, why is the United States mad? Isn't ISIS a common enemy? But then you go deeper into it, they're in Afghanistan for the poppy seeds. They want those poppy plants because the opioid epidemic right now is at like an all-time high.
Yeah, and this it ain't conspiracy theory, man. Like I said, line it up with what you're reading in the scriptures. There ain't no other nation that loves liars more. There ain't no other nation that deals more deceitfully, that breaks down the walls of people that have done them no harm. That start crap with people that don't mean any harm to them, in their own nation or outside the nation. Y'all see that? You got cops going through your neighborhood, patrolling your neighborhood. They don't even live in that neighborhood. They shoot you in your neighborhood on your porches, and they don't even live nowhere near. They living in the suburbs. You living in the slums, and they can't find nothing better to do than you already broke and destitute and been working your ass off, and they gonna shoot you on your mama's porch. What other nation is doing that? Let's go. Come on, man. Let's get the rest of 11 out because we got to get it to 12, man. Get the meat out.
2nd Esdras chapter 11, verse 45. And therefore appear no more, thou eagle, nor thy horrible wings, nor thy wicked feathers, nor thy malicious heads, nor thy hurtful claws, nor all thy vain body.
Right, so the hurtful claws represent the military force. Like when you look at an eagle, right? The destructive power of the eagle is what?
Claws.
Their claws, right? Like I was watching the thing what Kevin Hart was doing on what's his name show? One of those, the late show. But he had Steve Irwin's son on there with him. The dude kept bringing out all these animals. He was running around scared as hell of them. But he brought that falcon out. And the dude was telling him, like, they literally just tear the flesh off the animals like a hot knife through butter with them claws, man. He's like, that's what you got to watch out for. They be wearing these thick old leather gloves because that eagle will tear your damn arm off, man. That falcon will tear your arm off. Eagles' destructive forces in their claws. So he's saying, your hurtful claws, your destructive force, your military might, that's not going to be no more. What else did he say?
He said, nor all thy vain body.
Right, nor to your vain body. The people that make up the nation of Esau. The people that make up the Edomite kingdom. They're not going to be no more. Like it said in Obadiah. Let's go there in Obadiah. Because make no mistake, this wicked kingdom, we keep saying the wicked, it's Esau. It's the Edomite kingdom. Reborn, what do they call the word? Rebranded, right? They changed the brand name on you, right? It went from Fruitios to Fruit Loops. They changed the brand name on you, all right? But they're the same damn cereal, man. They're the same serial killers. It's the same people, man. Just a different outfit. It's Hannibal Lecter dressed as Mickey Mouse. All right? It's the same people. Whether you want to call them the Greeks, the Romans, the French, the Spanish, the Belgian, the Portuguese, whatever empire you want to call them, they're Esau. The man you read about, that evil man you read about in the Bible that sold his birthright for a bowl of pottage. You understand? So, yeah, which we know is the so-called white man. So I'm just giving it to you plain so there ain't no argument. And these little brothers these young-ass brothers have been in the truth all in 2 weeks. Can't be like, no, Esau's not the so-called white man. Okay, then show me the alternative. They never show you the alternative, right? Nah. Oh, it's the Arabs. Really? The black Arabs? The ones that ain't been an aggressor on the earth for 5,000 years? Those Arabs? The Ishmaelites that we used to beat up in the scriptures? No, it's not them. Sorry. Oh, you mean the ones calling themselves the Arabs? Oh, those are Edomites too, stupid. That's the so-called white man under the Ottoman Turk Empire living in Saudi Arabia, living in Dubai, living in the best places over there in Afghanistan and all that. The ones in the ghettos and the slums and dark-skinned ones with the woolly nappy hair. Those are more closer to the original Ishmaelites. And those cats is over there herding goats. So please don't tell me that's Esau living off the fat of the land and the dew of heaven. Nah. Let's make it real. We go through all the history books for you. We done it. Niggers and Jews, we went through all of them. What was the other one? The true Jew, the false Jews exposed. We did that. Those shows and classes. We've been giving y'all all the history, man. We went through the 13th tribe of Kessler. We went through who is Esau Edom, which after we did that class, after Kazaki did that class, the book went up to like, what, $4,000?
Yeah, it's at around, I think that's 900 now.
It's 900 now. They brought it down because we exposed them again. But every time we bring out these books, man, and this was paperback. It went up to $4,000. Paperback used on Amazon. $4,000. He bought it for $25. But once the truth started coming out, they jacked the price up. But it's in all these books, man. We've been exposing this truth to y'all, man. Go ahead.
I'm in Obadiah. You want me to start at verse 4 or
where I was talking about? There won't be none remaining in the house of Esau. I think
okay.
It's 20. No.
It is 18.
18. There we go.
Obadiah, verse 18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. And they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau.
So when he says there ain't going to be none remaining of the house of Esau, he means it. He's going to destroy this wicked kingdom, man. This last fourth beast. He's going to destroy it till there's none remaining. There ain't going to be no part of their body. All right, so when he says, nor all thy wicked body, all your vain body, he's talking about the people that make up the nation of the eagle. All right? So all the eagles' empires are going to end. All right, whether it was Assyrians, Babylonians, Greeks, Romans, all that flew under the symbol of the eagle, that's going to be over. You understand? And especially the culmination of the pinnacle of their empire, which is America. That's going to be gone. All the vain body is going to be gone. There ain't going to be no Democrats, Republicans running around, we need to take a vote and see what we're going to do after this. How are we going to recover? We're going to rebuild America. And all that Red Dawn crap they tried to hype you with in the 80s? Nope. You understand? Most High even killed Patrick Swayze for pulling that lie on him. That's not going to happen. They do not rebuild. They do not assemble and come back. No, he destroys all their vain body. Go ahead.
For the Lord has spoken it.
Right. Go back to Esdras. So we read that in Obadiah verse 18, right? So let's go back to Esdras.
2nd Esdras chapter 11 verse 46. That all the earth may be refreshed and may return, being delivered from thy violence, and that she may hope for the judgment and mercy of him that made her.
Right, see? That all the earth may be recovered from your violence. What other nation? Find me another nation that's doing violence to the entire earth. Chinese? Nah, they screwing themselves over. Right? Messing their water up. Actually, that's America too. Sorry. Can't even blame them. They was over there doing kung fu and everything. Then we came over and crapped on everything. Right? Crapped on their culture. Crapped on their river. Everything. Water supplies. You even got Matt Damon over there trying to crusade for send China some water. How you got the biggest nation on earth, covers the most land of any other nation on the planet, and they need water. It's sad, right? This is what America does, man. But again, I'm challenging y'all. Find me another nation on earth that has done what? What did it say? Just read the verse again.
46.
Yeah.
That all the earth may be refreshed and may return, being delivered from thy violence.
Right. Find me another nation that has done violence to the entire earth. We got to do the wacko, yakko, wacko, and dot from the Animaniacs. Name all the nations. Right? God. And there ain't no other nation on earth. You could go through them. Botswana, Haiti, the French. You know, you could go through each one and try to find one. The only nation that has been doing violence to the entire earth, that has waged war against any country that ever tried to even say anything against them, is America. Y'all see that? Is this wicked empire that flies under the symbol of the eagle. Then, what else did he say? He said that they may become, the inhabitants will recover from your violence. Who else? Read on.
And that she may hope for the judgment and mercy of him that made her.
Right.
That's it.
Read verse 46 again. Read it one more time.
Verse 46.
There's a point on there.
That all the earth may be refreshed and may return, being delivered from thy violence.
Right. The whole earth now needs to be refreshed. Even the land, even the crops need to be refreshed. What other nation on earth is poisoning people's crops, is poisoning people's water, is genetically modifying food, genetically modifying animals, meaning changing the DNA. We talk about they're changing the the genetic makeup of the animal. What other nation on earth is trying to do that? But the eagle. And their confederates, their little feathers. They tried to go and do that stuff for them. I mean, I heard about it. You know what I mean? They didn't kill. Did they kill Gaddafi because he was over there trying to mate a giraffe with an elephant? Did they kill Hugo Chavez because he was trying to genetically splice an eel DNA with a salmon DNA and sell it on the shelves? Hell nah. That's America doing all that. Watch your news and check the stuff you eat at the grocery store. Like, it ain't even no point in going in a diet no more. Niggas be like, oh, I'm vegetarian. No, you're not. You're so not vegetarian. You wish you was vegetarian. Okay, so you're GMO free, right? You're organic. I love that one. You're organic, right? Like my guy Blake 201 was talking about. Okay, you're organic, right? So you went to the store and you handpicked your piece of lettuce that was organically grown. Not a pesticide touched it, but where did they grow that? They grew it where one aisle of the rows of cabbage was sprayed with pesticides. Then the other aisle was sprayed with pesticides, but the one in the middle was not sprayed directly with pesticides. And they sold that aisle as pesticide free and jacked up the price double. And guess what you're eating? Double the amount of pesticides you would have got from either other side. Because all that just flowed into the middle. Y'all see that? But you think you're organic. You on a diet. Oh yeah, I keep my body's a temple. Not in this kingdom. Your body is genetically modified, got stem cells from other humans, monkeys, pigs, everything. If you've taken a vitamin, you know what I mean? Oh, I go to the gym every day. I eat 20 tons of multivitamins, right? Oh yeah, what's the casing? Pork, monkey brains for no damn reason, right? Oh, yeah, I'm healthy, man. I'm a pinnacle of health. I get my vaccinations every year. And I obey the law 100%. No, you don't. You just have pork and monkey and cow and pig DNA and human DNA injected into your body. So when we say keep the law, we're doing it to the best of our ability. We know can't nobody in this kingdom keep the law 100% because they done defiled everything. You understand? When we read that in Isaiah 8:24, there you go. Get that real quick. This is what this scripture is talking about. When he's talking about the earth got to be refreshed, the earth needs a chance to breathe, man. The earth, even the soil is crying against this place, man. They take tons, metric tons of garbage and just bury it underneath places. There's whole neighborhoods that are built on a whole pile of garbage. You're waking up like, what the hell is that smell? You on top of an Indian burial ground with 20 metric tons of garbage on top of it. Can't figure out why you got spirits at your house. You're not just in Amityville Horror, you in Amityville Horror and whatever the Toxic Avenger movie. You got Swamp Thing coming out your sink faucet, but I drink a gallon of water a day. Yeah, toxic ass water. They done did the scientific research, they put it under a microscope, you got toilet paper that somebody wiped their ass with floating around in your drinking water. But you healthy. You a fitness nut. Get the hell out of here, man. You alive by the grace of the Most High and that only. That's funny to me, man. Cause yo, you guys do this on the Sabbath and you do that on the Sabbath, nigga. Do you know how much feces you drank today? There ain't nobody keeping these laws to 100%. Stop it. We doing what we can. We rehearsing righteous acts until the Most High let the earth refresh itself, man. Because read that.
Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 5.
24:5. There we go.
The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant.
This is why the earth got to refresh itself. In 2nd Esdras 11:46, the earth got to refresh itself because the whole earth has been defiled by the inhabitants of it, by this eagle. They're changing the genetic structure of food, man. Oh yeah, I'm healthy. I eat an all 100% vegan diet. You eat corn? Because that's a genetically modified organism. But you're GMO free, right? But I got a history book about the Native Americans called 500 Nations. They tell you how the Native Americans took a blade of grass, a different seed from a type of grass, spliced it with another seed from a type of grain that grew, and made it into corn. You eat something that the Most High told you was unlawful to eat. He said, don't mix your field with diverse seed. Esau does it as a habit, as a hobby, man. They do that for fun. How can we defile these niggers today? The scripture said they don't rest until they do evil. They wake up thinking of stuff. They just wake up one day, oh yeah, I want to genetically modify something. What the hell's wrong with you? Like, when did that come into your brain? How do you wake up and just think of that? Like, you know what I want to do today? I want to breed a watermelon with a geranium. Why? A wateranium. I just want to say that. I'm going to sell it for $30 a pound. Right, the hot dog water. We're going to sell hot dog water for $34 a liter. I'm going to put a hot dog in a bottle of water and sell that to you. And people buy it.
Or even like you go to H-E-B, people think like they go to the organic section, I shop at H-E-B a lot. You see, say watermelon or grapes. You can't be GMO free and organic if it doesn't have any seeds.
Thank you.
It makes no sense. So it'll say like organic watermelon, but then it'd be like seedless, and it's like Most High didn't make no fruits without seeds. They yield seeds. So how is it organic? How is it GMO free?
But you only know that if you believe in the Bible, which is why they put the Bible on the terrorist list, right? Yeah, don't read that Bible. We can't sell you GMO products if you read the Bible. They defiled every damn thing, man. This place makes me want to throw up daily. Like I daily wake up angry, wanting to just go out in a blaze of glory. I'm saying it on camera, just in case, so you can put me on whatever watch list you got here, all right? Daily I wake up like that, like, God damn it, again? You serious? You done killed another little kid in front of his mom for playing with his toys? The cop weighed 300 pounds, been training since he was 5 years old. 300 pounds of solid muscle, but still had to pull a gun on a 5-year-old. You know what I mean? I watched another video of the cop kicking a little boy in his ass. They just kicked it. The other cop had to check him. Like, hey, you don't do that to little kids. Like, they think you're an animal, man. They do that to our people. They defile everything for fun. It's disgusting, man.
Even animals. Because I was looking at a show about conservation efforts, of supposed conservation efforts.
Yeah.
They have what's called canned lion hunts. Okay, and the lions are tied to a tree, and these people pay upwards of $100,000 to come in, not to kill the lion for food or anything that the lion was doing to them, but just for the sake of being able to have a lion, you know, in their home that they kill. They shoot the animal. He can't move. They just shoot him. Okay. But what they do first of all to get that lion is they pull the lion cub away from their mothers before they're 10 days old, right, so that the mother will come into estrus and they can breed her continuously.
So thou shalt not see the kid in thy mother's milk. We're going to do that anyway. You know what I mean? Then we're going a prudent man is good to his beast. Nah, we're not going to be that, right? They don't care about none of the law. They wake up thinking of it's like the Bible's a checklist for things they going to do.
Psalms 36:4.
thou shalt not. They just, let's take out not. You know what I mean? With thou shalt, that's going to be our Bible. Everything that it says, the Bible say do, they don't do. Everything it says don't do, they want to do. That's the Bible's just a checklist of how to do things.
I just want to say one thing.
What's that?
What tripped me out is they have a Queen James Bible.
Yeah, the gay Bible, the rainbow Bible.
Yeah, where they took out all the scriptures that go against homosexuality.
Mm-hmm.
They just took all that out and just put out a Queen James Bible. Like, this place is...
Because see, that's the thing is, when you give them the regular King James Bible, they try to say that, oh, that don't mean that. Then why did you take it out?
Man.
Why you take it out, Queen? You know what I mean? That don't make sense. If it doesn't mean what it says it means, why would you have to take it out? Because it means exactly that. Put a faggot to death. But they defiled that. They defiled sex. You know what I mean? You can't have the first commandment. We're going to defile that. Right? Be fruitful and multiply. Not the way we do it. We're going to do it in every orifice, in every hole, with every... Oh, you said don't do it with animals? With every animal. Right? Don't go to the woods and the stocks. We're going to make it out of woods and stocks. Right? We're going to get the giantest dildos we can and have our women frog hopping on them. And have our men frog hopping on them. Right? They defile every damn thing, man. Any natural thing they find, it's like, how can I defile this? How can I screw? They're like little babies, man. Like little babies with no parents. They're bastards, man.
Bunch of money.
They just run around, yeah, with a bunch of money, spoiled ass kids, doing whatever the hell they want with everything they want. They're literally, they're not what they say God is. They say God is just a big kid with a magnifying glass. No, that's Esau, man. That's the so-called white man. Because everything they do, it don't matter. They just had to shut down a beach somewhere. Some Asian place, they had to shut down the whole beach because of what the tourists did to the damn beach. How do you have to shut down access to the ocean because of people? They just go there, hey, this looks beautiful. Let me crap on it, light fires on it, kill animals on it, bury toxic waste on it, dump all my trash on it, and then leave it there. Like, who does that? Y'all see this? This is that evil, man. That's why the earth is going to have to refresh. Let's get this out the way. We finished that? 46?
That was, I read Isaiah, you asked me to read Isaiah and the earth is
24 and 5, right?
And we finished 46 verse 12.
We're chapter 12?
Chapter 12.
Let's get to it. So we're getting into 2nd Esdras chapter 12.
2nd Esdras chapter 12, verse 1.
We got an hour and 20 minutes. Let's do what we can do.
And it came to pass, whilst the lion spake these words unto the eagle, I saw.
So, for, all the way to verse 6, we're just kind of recapping what we read about in chapter 11. We're talking about, we heard the lion speaking to the eagle, right?
God.
Okay, go ahead.
Verse 2. And behold, the head that remained and the 4 wings appeared no more. And the 2 went unto it.
So the head that remained and what?
And the head that remained and the 4 wings appeared no more.
Right, and those 4 wings, they appeared no more. Go ahead.
And the 2 went unto it and set themselves up to reign. And their kingdom was small and full of uproar.
Okay.
Verse 3. And I saw, and behold, they appeared no more. And the whole body of the eagle was burnt, so that the earth was in great fear.
See, the whole body of the eagle was burnt up. That's what we're reading about in Revelation 17, when he said in 1 hour, I think it's 17, right? Where in 1 hour is that destruction come?
I believe so.
Right? They're going to be burnt up with thermonuclear destruction. And all the earth was in fear. Why? Because Yahweh Shai did it. After they see they're going to be seeing it from their nations. The smoke of her burning is going to be going up to heaven, man. And Yahweh Shai will be like, next. Go ahead.
Then awaked I out of the trouble and trance of my mind, and from great fear, and said unto my spirit, verse 4, Lo, this hast thou done unto me, in that thou searchest out the ways of the highest. Verse 5, Lo, yet am I weary in my mind.
So he's like, man, he's telling himself, man, Esdras, you idiot. This is what you get for trying to check and inquire on the ways of the Most High, man. This is what you get for asking to see the future. Why the hell, why did I do this? Now I'm dreaming about 3-headed eagles with 4 wings and feathers blowing up and burning up to ash, and the whole world being scared of it. What the hell kind of... This is what you get, Esdras. Right? He's telling him he's kicking himself, right?
Verse 5, Lo, yet am I weary in my mind, and very weak in my spirit.
He said, Lo, am I weak in my mind and weary in my spirit. This was making him tired, man. Go ahead.
And little strength is there in me, for the great fear wherewith I was affrighted this night. Verse 6.
Right.
Therefore will I now beseech the highest, and he will comfort me unto the end. Verse 7. And I said, Lord, that bears rule, if I have found grace before thy sight, and if I am justified with thee before many others, and if my prayer indeed be come up before thy face, comfort me then, and show me thy servant the interpretation.
See, Esdras had to beg for the interpretation of this dream from the Most High. So if you think you're going to read this and all of a sudden just be like, oh, I know what that means. You ain't going to know that unless the Most High give you that understanding. Esdras had to beg for this understanding. He was asking, please. He didn't even get it. Because these empires hadn't even risen yet. So it didn't even make any kind of sense to him. But the Most High gave him the understanding of these visions. So this is, when you read 6 through 8, you're reading about Esdras getting the understanding, asking for the understanding of the visions that were given to him. You understand? Go ahead.
Verse 8, third precept. And plain difference of this fearful vision, that thou mayest perfectly comfort my soul. Verse 9. For thou hast judged me worthy to show me the last times. Verse 10. And he said unto me.
So you had to be found worthy to be shown the last times. You had to be able to handle it, man. You understand? These niggas that they get in the truth for a year, those are not your prophets. Those ones that they couldn't do 50 push-ups and they left their camp and decided they was prophets now and they Facebook prophets now. Tell them to break down Esdras for you. Tell you if they're a prophet, they should be able to break this down. If they're a prophet, they should be able to break down Revelations, Daniel's, Zechariah. Y'all gotta understand that this gotta be given to you by inspiration of the Most High, man. It gotta be given to you by being able to go point for point, scripture for scripture, and show that these are these kingdoms. History books, archaeology, nationality books, anthropology books. You got to be able to study these things and break these things down. You understand? If they can't do that and they just saw, oh, he's talking about the white man, go from that prophet. Go from the lips of that foolish man. Go ahead.
Verse 10. And he said unto me, this is the interpretation of the vision. Verse 11. The eagle whom thou sawest come up from the sea is the kingdom which was seen in the vision of thy brother Daniel.
Right, see? So right there, he's telling you this is the same eagle that Daniel's chapter 7 is talking about. So again, if you can put that link in there about Daniel's chapter 7. That eagle that you read about in Daniel 7 is this same eagle that Esdras is dreaming about. But check this out, right?
Verse 12. But it was not expounded unto him.
It wasn't what?
Expounded unto him.
Now, Daniel was one of the wisest people on the planet, man. This vision wasn't opened up to Daniel. Now you see why they took this book out. Why it's called the Apocrypha. Because Esdras is getting the explanation of that Daniel 7 vision. Alright? And if you read Daniel 7 and you thought those kingdoms sound familiar, Esdras is going to bust it wide open for you and make it clear and evident. Y'all see that? So this is why the Roman Catholic Church, why the so-called white man, why the eagle wanted to take it out. Why the devil wanted to take these books out. Go ahead.
Verse 13. I'm sorry, verse 12, last precept. Therefore now I declare it unto thee. Verse 13.
So
Behold,
again, what you're getting now, what's getting declared unto you, Daniel didn't even know this. Alright? This was the stuff that was sealed in the book. Go ahead.
Verse 13. Behold, the days will come that there shall rise, Salakia, up a kingdom upon earth, and it shall be feared above all the kingdoms that were before it.
Okay, so this right here, this kingdom that's gonna arise. Remember, at Esdras' time, these kingdoms had not arisen yet. Okay? So he's not talking about the end time. He's not talking to John the Revelator in the end times. He's talking to Esdras and saying there is going to be a kingdom that will arise. Right? This is talking about the ancient Greco-Roman Empire. This kingdom that he's speaking about right here in verse 13, right? That's the ancient Greco-Roman Empire. How do we know? That's that eagle. They flew under the symbol of the eagle. And it's going to get more specific. Read 13 again.
2 Esdras chapter 12 and verse 13. Behold, the days will come that there shall rise up a kingdom upon earth, and it shall be feared above all the kingdoms that were before it.
Okay, so this is we're going to bring some historical names and dates in here. Julius Caesar. All right, this is speaking of the ancient Greco-Roman Empire. Julius Caesar. He fought against and defeated Crassus and Pompey. I gotta look up how you spell Crassus.
He was on General Crassus. The funny thing is, this goes back in the last chapter when you were talking about on Wednesday. You said they all were fighting amongst each other for power because Julius Caesar and Pompey and Crassus actually saved Julius Caesar to conquer the Spartacus army of gladiators. They actually they called Pompey and Crassus along with what was his name? I can't remember his name. But Pompey came to the rescue basically. That's how they conquered Spartacus and his army of like 30,000 at the time.
Dang.
Well, it dwindled down to 30,000. It was up to 70,000, but they broke off. They split him and his dude named Crixus.
Right. So when you're watching these shows, Spartacus, movies, Spartacus, these interact with what you're learning here. They interact and they coincide with people like Pompey, Julius Caesar. You understand? Y'all with me? Gotta make sure, man. Any questions?
You know how to spell Crixus or Craxus?
Praxis. I gotta look that up. That one's hard. What I have is like C-R-A. I just had it the way it sounded.
Okay.
C-R-A-X-C-U-S.
Okay, Craxus.
Yeah. So Julius Caesar defeated Crassus and Pompey.
It's C-R-A-S-S-U-S.
Crassus?
Marcus Licinius. Praxis.
Good. Let's write this in there. Let me see where I'm at. You say it one more time?
C-R-A-S-S-U-S.
So, in this time period, with all this, was this the same time period of like Alexander?
This is after Alexander. Alexander the Greek was around 333 BC.
Okay.
All right. What we're dealing with, I was just about to give you the date, is Julius Caesar defeated Crassus and Pompey and brought his armies into Rome in 49 to 44 BC. 49 to 44 BC. So this is 49 years, roughly 50 years before Christ. 49 to 44 BC. You count backwards when you do before Christ, because you're counting down to Christ. All right, so from 49 to 44 BC, that's 5 years, it took him to defeat Crassus and Pompey. Give me that guy's name, the whole name, Crassus.
It was Marcus Licinius, which is L-I-C-I-N-I-U-S. Crassus, which is C-R-A-S-S.
Hold on, slow down. Marcus Licinius?
Yes, sir.
L-A-C.
No, L-I-C-I-N-I-U-S. Licinius.
Got you.
And Crassus.
Marcus Licinius, L-I-C-I-N-I-U-S. Go ahead.
And then Crassus, C-R-A-S-S-U-S.
Perfect. Appreciate that. So we got Marcus Licinius Crassus and Pompey, the Roman city named after him that got blown over a volcano, right? So Pompey, the man, Marcus Licinius Crassus, got defeated by Julius Caesar from 49 to 44 BC. All right, so this is about 250 years, 200 and something years after the Greek Empire. Okay, because the Greek Empire came into power in 333 BC. The Roman Empire defeated them about 227 BC. All right, but they didn't really come into power, like get organized until about 27 BC, and they came into full power around 27 AD, around the time of Christ. All right. So when you're dealing with the Roman Empire, Greece, the Romans had defeated the Greeks to get here. All right. Just to make that timeline more clear for you.
Was Julius Caesar was around the birth of Yahushua, or you think he was still alive? And I know he got murdered. Now he probably not. I answered my question. He got murdered shortly after.
Yeah, he got murdered.
He got stabbed by his own guard, I think.
Right.
Okay.
But remember, he had that. This is Julius Caesar, the first Caesar of Rome, right? So he was the first. What we read about before, we were reading about the contrary feathers, right? Or no, it was the second feather, right? We read about Tiberius and Octavius, right? The second and third feather. He's the first feather. Julius Caesar, the first feather. All right.
The first contrary feather.
There you go. So he's the first one to rise up, and he was the one that remember the lion told the eagle. He said, "You're going to reign, but and no other one's going to attain it to your time." All right. And we're going to recap that, so don't worry about that. We'll get to that. All right, so Julius Caesar defeated Crassus in Pompeii. He brought his armies into Rome from 49 to 44 BC. Next point, dealing with 2nd Esdras 12, verse 13. Octavian, remember Octavian, right? What was his other name?
Augustus.
There we go. AKA Augustus Caesar defeated Mark Antony and Cleopatra. So these are some more famous names you don't heard of, right? All being mingled together now. Octavian, aka Augustus Caesar, he defeated Mark Antony and Cleopatra. And he ruled from 41 BC. I'm sorry, he ruled 41 to 44 years. All right? So this is from 27 BC to 14 AD.
Could you say that one more time?
From 27 BC to 14 AD.
So he was around with Yahushua.
You said Mark Antony and who else?
Cleopatra.
They tell you in this book I got too that Cleopatra was basically like seduced him. She was known for seducing like the men of the ancient time, and she was actually part of the cause for him weakening up and his army weakening up. They go along with the verse of
that's what women do.
Yeah, men go out there whisper, women become servants. They say 'cause they said he had given her like power over the military at one point.
Yeah. That's right.
All these names is popping up like stuff out of red.
Yeah, again, that's why y'all want to get your study on it, help you follow along, and you'll be more interested for one. But these things will be more clear to you that the scriptures are real. See, a lot of people they kind of just go by a group mentality. You know, and they hang it in there, and the scriptures ain't really real to them. But when you see that there's no other people this could be, when you start reading this, you're like, damn, he wrote about that. How long before Christ? How long before these people even appeared on the scene? The Bible is real. Y'all see that? Besides the fact that, you know, you can turn on the news every day and the scriptures be popping up for you. Right? Let's make this next point. We're in 2 Esdras 12, verse 13, right? So we read about, or what we're hearing about is Octavian, aka Augustus Caesar. He defeated Mark Antony and Cleopatra. Right? And he ruled from between 41 and 44 years. All right, because some places have it as he ruled from 27 BC to 14 AD, and some of them have he ruled from like 31 BC to 14 AD. So he ruled between 41 and 44 years. All right. You know, you go to Google it, you get one set of years. In Wikipedia, it'll be another set of years. You go to a history book, it'll be another set of years. So everybody got it different. All right. But roughly around 41 to 44 years was the rule of Octavius Caesar. So let's read, everybody with me? Caught up so far? All right. If you just coming in or if you just joining us, watch the 2nd Esdras 11 and 12 breakdown, the first part from Wednesday. And you can also watch this one tonight. It'll be all on ISB HBK on YouTube. And we'll also put it on the Israelite School of Biblical History and Practical Knowledge on YouTube. All right, so let's read 2nd Esdras chapter 12, verse 14.
2nd Esdras chapter 12, verse 14. In the same shall 12 kings reign one after another. 15. Wherefore the second shall begin to reign.
Right, hold on. Read it again.
Verse 14. In the same shall 12 kings reign one after another.
Right, so in the same shall 12 kings reign one after the other. So what we're finding out is that right after this, in this same empire, this Roman Empire that Julius Caesar had established, there's going to be 12 kings reigning, one after the other, rapid succession. All right. So then we're talking about the 12 Caesars of Rome.
That's what I was thinking.
All right. If you got a picture of like a chart or something like that, you can look up the 12 Caesars of Rome. See if they have like maybe a chart of them, you know, where they just got little pictures of them and their names. But we're gonna go through them anyway, one by one.
I got a quick question.
Yeah.
Because I know it's like, it's the scripture say he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. That's kind of symbolic that it's 12 Caesars that I was just thinking, I don't know. It's not really nothing. It's just kind of symbolic that it would be 12 Caesars. And it's 12 children of Israel. Because like there's a scripture that says, he says basically everything is set according to the number of the children of Israel. Like everything.
Oh, he set the bounds of people.
Yeah, kind of.
Deuteronomy 32 and 8.
Is that kind of like, I mean, I don't know. That's just a food for thought, I guess. It's not a question. I just thought about that.
Yeah, no, it doesn't pertain to this, but yeah, he does things in his number. You know what I mean?
7, 12, 3.
Yeah, it just so happens, yeah, that this is the way he set these things up. We're in
verse 15.
let's go. So read that again. Read 15 again, and then we're gonna go back because we're going to start clearing up some of those spaces we missed in 2nd Esdras 11. All right. So read 15 again.
I haven't read 15 yet. I'm just looking at 14.
Oh, okay. Read that.
Verse 14. In the same shall 12 kings reign, one after another.
So in this same beast, in the same head, was 12 kings gonna reign one after another. So what we're reading about is these feathers. These were kings. These weren't just feathers on a bird. These were kings. They were actual historical figures. Go ahead.
Verse 15. Whereof the second shall begin to reign, and shall have more time than any of the 12.
Right. So the second one is the one that had the longest reign. All right. Tiberius had the longest reign. All right. So we read that he ruled about 27 years he ruled 41 to 44 years. All right. So remember that he had the longest reign. The The second feather is the one that had the longest reign. Julius Caesar, he came up, got into power, his own men killed him. That's where you hear that saying, "Et tu, Brute?" That's his dying words. He's saying, "And you too, Brutus?" Brutus was his right-hand man, stabbed him in the back. All right? So when you hear people saying that, "Et tu, Brute," they mean you're a traitor. You're like Judas. You stabbed him in the back. Go ahead.
Verse 16. And this do the
From
12.
15, we're going to go to 2nd Esdras, back to 11, verse 12, and read through 17.
2nd Esdras chapter 11, verse 12.
Because that's what we're clearing up. We're clearing up what you read about in 2nd Esdras chapter 11 that you might not have understood. Go ahead.
And I looked, and behold, on the right side there arose one feather, and reigned over all the earth. Verse 13. And so it was, that when it reigned, the end of it came, and the place thereof appeared no more. So the next following stood up, and reigned, and had a great time.
Right, so they're saying he had a great time. Again, not meaning that they was having a party and everything was good and everything. It's talking about they had a long time, 41 years. Right? 41 years of Tiberius rule. Then the next one was 23 years. The next one after that, they had like 200-300 years of rule. Alright? So that's what it means when they had a great time, from 227 BC all the way to like the destruction of Jerusalem and everything like that to the present day. Rome is still in existence. Alright? So they've had a great time, but they're not a world power anymore. Where you at?
Verse 14.
All right, so we're 2nd Esdras 11, verse 14. Y'all with me? All right. Go ahead.
And it happened that when it rained, the end of it came also, like as the first, so that it appeared no more. Verse 15. Then came there a voice unto it and said, Hear, thou that hast borne rule over the earth so long. This I say unto thee, before thou beginnest to appear no more. Verse 17.
So before who? Which Caesar of Rome is this one talking to?
It's not Tiberius.
Well, go ahead and read it. Finish
he's
it
talking about Tiberius.
No, read it. Go ahead and read it.
From the top, 14?
Verse 14. And it happened that when it rained, the end of it came also, like as the first, so that it appeared no more.
Right, so that
It's not
it was coming and they were about to appear no more. Go ahead.
Verse 15. Then came there a voice unto it and said, Hear thou that thou hast borne rule over the earth so long.
Right.
This I say unto thee.
So you that bore rule over the earth so long. Go ahead.
Before thou beginnest to appear no more.
So before you die, before you fade out, go ahead.
There shall none after thee attain unto thy time.
None of these other kings are going to be reigning as long as you did. So who's he talking to?
Tiberius.
Who ruled the longest?
I thought Tiberius ruled.
Octavian.
Oh, Octavian.
Right? 41 years. That's what we got, right? That's what y'all got for 2nd Esdras 12 and 13, right? Y'all ready? Y'all taking notes?
Yeah, it was.
Take good notes, man. Take good notes.
That's Augustus, right?
Yeah.
Octavian, a.k.a. Augustus Caesar, he ruled 41 years. So this lion is speaking to him saying, listen, before you fade out, none of these other guys is going to rule as long as you did. All right? Where you at?
I was at verse 17.
Any questions so far? On anything? All right, go ahead.
Verse 17. There shall none after thee attain unto thy time, neither unto the half thereof.
Right, nobody's going to rule as long as you, not even halfway. All right, because the next one that ruled longest after Octavian was Tiberius. Tiberius only ruled how long? I don't know if some of y'all weren't even here Wednesday, right? Tiberius ruled 23 years. he only ruled 23 years. So the lion told him before he was even in power, you're not going to rule as long as Octavian did. All right? Tiberius only ruled 23 years. He said you ain't even going to get halfway. You on verse, which one?
Verse 18.
Okay, so we read through verse 17. All right, so Tiberius had ruled 23 years from 14 AD to 37 AD. Y'all should have that in your notes from 12 verse 13.
He ruled from 14 AD to 37 AD. You were right. That's what it says on Google.
Right. Again, they give you like different dates. Mine have 14 AD up here. Oh, that's Octavian. I'm tripping. That's Octavian. I'm mixing them up now. Don't let me mix you up. I'm going to go right with what it says right here. All right, so Tiberius, that's what we're talking about. He ruled 23 years from 14 AD to 37 AD. All right? So go back to 2nd Esdras chapter 11, verse 10.
You said 14 what?
14 AD to 37 AD. No.
Yeah, you right. That's 14 AD to 37.
Start counting forward again. Right. That BC, man. So everybody caught up so far? All right. 2nd Esdras chapter 11, verse 10.
One more question, just so I'm not confused. I believe you misspoke. You said 14 AD to what now?
37 AD. Now we're counting up.
Oh, okay, I got you.
After death, or Anno Domini, the year of our Lord. So if you look at a timeline, we'll have BC, which it would be like if you were back in math class, you had negative numbers, right?
Yeah, but you said AD 2 times.
Yeah.
But the smaller number you had front.
Because 14 AD is 14 years after Christ's death. All the way to 37 AD. So you counted up away from Christ's death. Does that help?
Not really, but I'll write it down anyway.
It's right now, like from
Remember,
2008 to 2018 is 10 years. So
I thought it go from BC to AD.
Oh, no. Remember, this is just talking about his rule, his time of rule. So his time of rule was from 14 to 37, right? 13 years, right?
But I thought it would go from 37 to 14 if you're going backwards. That's all.
No. Oh, that's BC. Remember, BC, you're counting up until Christ. So now you're going like
okay. I got
Egyptian Empire, 5,000 years BC.
I got you now.
Right. You can think of BC as like negative. That's what I was saying.
No, I got it now.
Oh yeah, not just for everybody else too, but you can think of BC as like negative numbers, right? When you go back to Egypt, that's 5,000 years before Christ, right? So we got BC right here, right? Egypt over there in the negative 5,000, right? Then we got now over here this candlestick, right? That's positive, right? We'll say 2018 AD, after death. 2018 years after the death of Christ. So as you go further toward Egypt, right, you're going toward negative. As you go further toward now, you're going toward positive. All right? So if you say, so when you go negative, you got to count down to get to Christ. You understand? Like, if I go from 5,000 to Christ, I got to count backward. 5,000 years, 4,999 years, 4,998 years. I'm counting down to Christ's birth. Come? All right, as I go up now, when I get to Christ's birth, I got to go up now. Okay, Christ's been around for 1 year. Christ's been around for 2 years, 3 years. When he died, 33 years, right? Okay, after that, 34, 35, 36, I'm going up now. Okay? All right.
In those years, there was Tiberius, right?
That was Tiberius season. Tiberius ruled 23 years from 14 AD to 37 AD. So we're going to go back into those 12 Caesars of Rome by breaking down 2nd Esdras 11, verse 10. So read that.
2nd Esdras chapter 11, verse 10. And I beheld, and lo, the voice went not out of her heads, but from the midst of her body. Verse 11.
All right, so it said, I beheld, and the voice went not from her heads, but from the midst of her body. Right? So the voice that was speaking that was speaking at this time didn't come from the heads. Remember, the heads were asleep. Who were the heads? The three heads.
Britain, America, and Russia, or Russia.
There you go. Britain, America, and Russia. Y'all got that? So the three heads were asleep. They weren't around at this time. So what was speaking was the body of this eagle. The body of this eagle is talking about this Roman Empire. All right, these 12 Caesars of Rome. So we got through Julius. He's the one that established it. How did Julius Caesar establish Rome?
He defeated Pompey and Crassus.
He defeated Pompey and Crassus. When? Who else? Who else is awake? 49 to 44 BC. All right, so he was just whooping them until in 44 BC, Julius Caesar finally was able to take and make Rome, start making Rome a country from Pompey and Crassus. All right. So at this time, when we say the Roman Empire defeated Greece in 227 BC. What we're saying is that they defeated them, but they hadn't established themselves yet as an empire. So we say 227 BC, but it took them about 200 years until 27 BC to get established, to have a government and become a nation and have it on lockdown. All right. So from this time, Julius Caesar, he had established Rome. Then the second Caesar of Rome was who?
Tiberius.
Tiberius, right? And he reigned for 23 years. We just read that, right? Or we just looked that up.
14 to 37 AD.
Good. Next is one of the worst rulers you'll ever hear about. If you ever hear a movie named after this man, hide your kids. All right? Hide your wife, hide your kids. This is Caesar Caligula. To give you an inkling of what the movie's about, it was co-produced by the guy that does the guy that did the Skin magazine, man, Larry Flint. It was Larry Flint, right? No, Hustler magazine, right? That's Larry Flint.
Not sure.
Yeah, but Hustler magazine helped produce this movie. All right. So to just give you an inkling, somebody got their hand up? I can see things moving, but I can't see if you're waving or not. Just talk. Hustler magazine helped produce this movie. All right. So it's basically like very pornographic. It's very graphic in nature, but it's going to give you just about as an exact a depiction of ancient Rome as you ever will see. All right. Besides just walking out the streets now. All right. Caesar Caligula. This dude is terrible. 37 to 41 AD. Let me give you all these dates and let's try to get through this. 37 to 41 AD. So you got Tiberius falling in 37 AD, Caligula rising up in 37 AD to 41 AD, which means he ruled for how long?
6 years.
37 to 41.
6 years.
4 years.
4 years.
I'm tripping 4 years, not bad.
All right. 4 years. College graduate.
I ain't a graduate. I didn't graduate.
Nah, I'm talking about. All right, so Caligula ruled from 37 to 41 AD. After him, you have Caesar Claudius, or Emperor Claudius. Sometimes they took on the name Caesar, sometimes they took on the name Emperor. All right, as Rome was establishing itself as an empire. So you got Emperor Claudius from 41 to 54 AD. From 41 to 54 AD, which is 13 years. So Claudius, that's C-L-A-U-D-I-U-S. C-L-A-U-D-I-U-S, Claudius. Everybody got that? Huh? Huh? All right, Emperor Nero. It's the one that you hear about. He fiddled while Rome burned, right? They got that famous cliche, Nero fiddled while Rome burned. A lot of these guys was out of their mind. It was bats in the belfry and out of the belfry, right? They had lost their damn mind. This guy, Nero, he reigned from 54 to 68 AD. 54 to 68 AD. 14 years. 54 to 68 AD. Give me a comment when y'all got it.
Con.
Everybody got it? So next we have Emperor Galba. Galba, G-A-L-B-A, who ruled from 68 to 69 AD.
He got killed or something?
Saying only ruled for 7 months.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of these guys, the people overthrew them, their own people overthrew them, their sons killed them sometimes, their wives poisoned them, they poisoned each other, you know what I mean? These were some murderous bastards, man. But check this out, go to 2nd Esdras, read chapter 11, verse 21. Because now we're going to start dealing with these emperors after Nero. Because when you look at the ones before, you get 13 years, 23 years, 14 years, right?
God.
But when you get to Galba, he gets
7 months.
7 months. The hell, right? But this is why. Read that.
2nd Esdras chapter 11, verse 20. Then I beheld, and lo, in process of time, the feathers that followed stood up upon the right side, that they might rule also.
See, so the feathers on the other side, they stood up. They're trying to rule now. All right, so you had these emperors, these Caesars coming up. They helped establish Rome. But then another faction was like, no, we can take this too. We can take over those kings. We can beat them. We got land. We got armies. And they started fighting amongst each other. Read that.
Verse 20. Then I beheld, and lo, in process of time, the feathers that followed stood up the right side, and that they might rule also.
See, they wanted to rule also. Go ahead.
And some of them ruled.
And some of them ruled. Go ahead.
But within a while they appeared no more.
But within a while they appeared no more. So they didn't say they were going to rule a great time. They said they appeared and then they disappeared. Y'all see that? So this is where you start dealing with Galba, who ruled for about 7 months, from 68 to 69 AD, right? Then you get next Otho Vitellius, O-T-H-O. Otho, like that's the one I needed to spell, right? Vitellius, V-I-T-E-L-L-I-U-S. Otho Vitellius. Now check this out. He ruled in between Galba and Vespasian. So he came up and left so quick, he don't even get a year. Check this out. When you get to Vespasian, the Emperor Vespasian, right? Who we read about in Babylon to Timbuktu, right? So when you get to Emperor Vespasian, now we're getting to around the time of Christ. This was the emperor around the time of Christ. And around, or after Christ, I'm sorry, around the destruction of Jerusalem. Vespasian ruled from the year 69 to 79. So wait a minute, where the hell? I got Galba, he ruled from 68 to 69. Otho Vitellius is in there, and then you got Vespasian. How did Vespasian rule in 69 when Galba was ruling in 69? Where did Vitellius get to go in? Well, Otho Vitellius, as soon as he got up in there for a few months, he was dead. He was killed. They killed him quick. He was so wicked and evil, they just, get him out of there. So they killed him so quick, it was like, okay, that was funny. Let's get to the next guy. All right? So Otho Vitellius was in there in between Galba and Vespasian. Vespasian ruled from 69 to 79, so he got 10 years. So the time frame is decreasing. The time frame of them ruling is decreasing. Y'all see this? Especially with those three. Galba ruled 7 months. Vitellius was, he ain't even getting there a month, some of them. Vespasian was there about a year. Or I'm sorry, Vespasian was in there 10 years. Then you get Titus. Titus was Vespasian's son. Remember? Yeah. Titus, the Roman general, under the orders of his father Vespasian. What we read in Babylon, the Timbuktu, page 84. Right? This is that Titus. Titus ruled from 79 to 81 AD. 79 to 81 AD. Y'all got that? So he ruled for 2 years. After Titus, you have Domitian. D-O-M-I-T-I-A-N. Domitian ruled from 81 to 96 AD. So he ruled for 15 years, 81 to 96 AD. And he was the last of the 12. He's the last of these 12 feathers.
They also say he's Titus' younger brother. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I gotta look into that.
That's what it says. It says he's the younger brother of Titus and the son of Vespasian. So I guess he was maybe the youngest. I didn't know that.
Right.
The youngest son.
So that makes Domitian the last of the 12 Caesars of Rome. Were you able to pull up a picture of that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. All right, but I want you to read that 2nd Esdras 11 and 20 again, just so y'all can see, as we went through the timeline, we went from 41 years to the next one ruling for 23 years. You know what I mean? Julius Caesar was only in there a little while, right? And then they killed him off. His own generals killed him off. And then here comes one of his generals, Octavian, come and rule after him. He's ruling for 41 years. After him, you get Tiberius, 23 years. Right? Right after this voice told by speaking to Octavian, telling him, listen, all the kings that come after you will not rule like you did, not even to the half of your time. And as you go down that list, none of them rule even to the half of the time. There's only one of them that gets like 23 years. Y'all see that? Then when he gets to that verse 20 and 21, he's like, y'all gonna rule a short time. Y'all gonna be in and out. Y'all gonna appear and disappear. Y'all see that? And again, as you go down the timeline, you start getting to Galba. And Galba's in there 7 months, and then next you know, there's Otho Vitellius, and then you get Vespasian. Like, we just skipped over Otho. Y'all see that? They just went in and out like that. So read that again.
2nd Esdras chapter 11, verse 20. Then I beheld, and lo, in process of time, the feathers that followed stood up upon the right side, that they might rule also. And some of them ruled, but within a while they appeared no more.
Right. So some of them ruled, but within a while they appeared no more. Go ahead.
Verse 21.
Uh-huh.
For some of them were set up, but ruled not.
See, some of them were set up to rule. They was the next in line, but they didn't get to make it. They got killed. Y'all see that? Some of them was, oh, I'm the next in line, but oh, my generals killed me. Or oh, my wife poisoned me. Or the Senate, they formed a conspiracy against me and stabbed me up. Put a snake in my bed. A lot of these guys died violent deaths because nobody wanted them ruled. They knew how wicked and evil they were. Y'all see that? Where we at? You finished?
Yeah, that was verse 21.
All right, go back. Let's go to 2 Esdras 12 and 17.
2 Esdras chapter 12, verse 17.
I know there's a lot of meat in here. I know I'm tired and everything, so I'm going to try to breeze through it. Y'all can watch it again when y'all more refreshed. But y'all need to know this stuff, man. I know this ain't right here. This isn't our history, per se. But it is our history, because we was up under these people in captivity. We were in these places in captivity. You understand? All right, go ahead.
As for the voice which came thou heardest speak, and that thou sawest not to go out from the heads, but from the midst of the body thereof, this is the interpretation.
That was verse 17?
God.
You finish it?
Yes, sir.
All right, so you saw the heads, and you saw what come from the midst thereof? Read again.
As for the voice which thou heardest speak, and that thou sawest not to go out from the heads, but from the midst of the body thereof, this is the interpretation.
Right, so he's going to interpret that, what you saw in 2 Esdras chapter 11, verse 7, right, through 9. So I want you to read that. And then we're going to go back to 12, verse 17 and interpret what that is. All right? So read 11, verse 7 through 9.
2 Esdras chapter 11, verse 7. And I beheld, and lo, the eagle rose upon her talons, and spake to her feathers, saying, Watch not all at once, sleep every one in his own place, and watch by course.
See, so the voice, the commandment was given by the Most High. Don't all y'all wake up at once. Y'all sleep everyone in your own place. Y'all not going to be awake at the time of Esdras. Y'all going to awake at your time. Go ahead.
Verse 9. But let the heads be preserved for the last.
See, y'all 3 heads, America, Russia, and Britain. Y'all going to be preserved for the last. For the last days. Go ahead.
Verse 10. And I beheld, and lo, the voice went out not.
So listen. When you put this together, right? He said, y'all preserved for the last. So these 3 heads that rise up, America, Russia, and Britain, are showing you when the last days are. They're showing you when the final days are. Those 3 heads that are greater than all these other empires before them is telling you. It's telling you that's the last days. So when we say that, we're not just giving you some far-fetched doomsday prophecy. We're telling you because all the signs are there. All the coincidences link up. Y'all see that? Y'all hear me? All right, go ahead.
And I beheld, and lo, the voice went not out of her heads, but from the...
What verse you at?
Verse 10.
Right, so 11 verse 9 is going to be interpreted by 12 verse 17. So read 12 verse 17 again.
2 Esdras chapter 12, verse 17. As for the voice which thou heardest speak, and that thou sawest not to go out from the heads, but from the midst of the body thereof, this is the interpretation.
Right, so if you get a book called the Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire. The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire by Edward Gibbons, page 98. All right, now it's got a few volumes, so you gotta see which one it is exactly. I gotta get that for you. I gotta get that from Kawakaba, as a matter of fact. But this is a direct quote from that book. It says, after the time of the 12 Caesars was the downfall of the Roman Empire. All right, so after Domitian ruled, right? After Domitian ruled, the empire of Rome started to crumble. After that last emperor, Rome started turning into democracy, Democrats versus Republicans, and Senate, and the people, and all this stuff, all these different things that was trying to come against each other. It just started crumbling from within. All right. It says, read verse 17 again.
2 Esdras chapter 12, verse 17. As for the voice which thou heardest speak, and that thou sawest not to go out from the heads, but from the midst of the body thereof, this is the interpretation. Verse 18. That after the time of that kingdom, there shall arise great strivings, and it shall stand in peril of falling. Nevertheless, it shall not then fall, but shall be restored again to its beginning.
There you go. So, what you see that where it says, nevertheless, it shall not then fall, but it'll be restored like it was in the beginning.
That's Revelations 2, huh? When it talks about the bottom of the
the head that was the head was grievously wounded.
Wounded, and
and it appeared like it was dead. So again, this ties in with Revelation. We'll go into all that, but this is talking about the Renaissance period. All right. So when you see that, nevertheless, it shall be restored as from the beginning. So what happened was Septimius Severus, a black general, right, a Jew, he conquered Rome. He conquered the Roman Empire. But the Renaissance period came around, right? He conquered from about, it was 1453 to 1453 to, I see them. No. It was like 492 to 1453. There we go. It's like 492 AD to 1453 AD. So about 1,000 years. He conquered them, and that was known as the Dark Ages. So all these so-called, the white man, he was put down. Black people was running Europe. It was a good time. But what they call it, the Dark Ages, right? So when you deal with these Dark Ages, this part where he's talking about that, nevertheless, it's going to be restored as it was in the beginning. This is when the so-called white man came back out of the Caucasus Mountains as the Ottoman Turk Empire, and they started reclaiming Europe. All right, and they called it the Renaissance, what they called the rebirth, and they started painting over all the black images of all the black rulers and painting over all the images of biblical figures, and trying to make them look like their people. What's that?
So that, you know, I said the Dark Ages, like, was the Black Plague something also they called the Black Plague, the bubonic plague? Was that also like, was that an aid in like stopping our rulership as well? That's why they call it the Black Plague?
The Black Plague wasn't until after.
It was after?
The Black Plague comes in the time of like Mary Queen of Scots, Queen Elizabeth. All right, so you're dealing about the 1500s, 1600s. All right. So what we're dealing with here, this is the Renaissance period, when Rome, through overextending its military and its devalued monetary system and corruption, the Praetorian Guard auctioned off Rome to a landowner named Julianus. All right, so what happened was basically Rome went to crack. Didn't have no rulers over it. Septimius Severus had whooped their ass for a long time. Then the cave beasts came out of the cave, and they were able to take over. They were able to overcome as the Ottoman Turk Empire, calling themselves Jews, right? Sucking off the influence of Islam and Catholicism. They were able to start taking over the entire Roman Empire and called themselves Jews. They got the empire back, but it didn't really have no government because it was Esau, man, they're beasts. So they weren't governing themselves correctly. And in process of time, they started going broke. They didn't have no natural resources, so they had to start auctioning off land. And what they ended up doing was the Praetorian Guard, the Praetorians were the elite guards of Rome. They had to actually auction off land to a landowner named Julianus. Julianus would end up buying up large sections of land. So if you know anything about monarchies and ruling, you know, kings and lords and all that stuff, to be a nobility, you had to own a lot of land. To get power, you had to own a lot of land. Especially if your land could grow grain. You had power. Because the Europeans were starving. So if you had land with grain on it, you had power. You were able to deal with kings. You was able to wheel and deal. Y'all understand? Mark the only one that understands? Everybody else sleep? Nah, okay, all right. So I'm going to, see y'all got that name, Julianus? Because that's going to come into play a little bit later too. The Praetorian Guard auctioned off Rome to a landowner named Julianus. The reason why was because Rome was trying to still conquer every damn thing. They hadn't settled at home. He's a proud man and keep it not at home, like it says in Hosea 2. You understand? They were so proud and thought their army was so unbeatable that they started trying to conquer everything. Parts of Africa, parts too far east, parts too far north, and all the people were like, damn, ain't nobody in Rome. We can go get that. Since the army's over here and the army's over here, and the army's over here, the armies of Rome under the Vatican and under all these other rulers, us rich landowners can use our armies that we got here and take over Rome. But Rome was also funding all those armies on all those different fronts, so they was going broke. Trying to feed them, trying to ship grains and ship foods to them, ship water to them, ship armaments to them. That cost money. So they went broke and they had to auction off the land, the Praetorian Guard, to try to preserve Rome as a state, as a place. They started auctioning off land, and this rich landowner named Julianus ended up owning a lot of Rome. All right?
You know they say that the history repeats itself? Mm-hmm. That sounds very familiar with what's going on right now. Because right now, the debt is so high that in Detroit, Chinese are buying up most of Detroit, the real estate in Detroit, because first of all, the United States owes China X amount of $1 trillion. And the homes and real estate down there is going for, like, you can get a house for like $3,000, $3,500. Wow. And then it sounds familiar as well because we got all these military bases in every other country. I haven't yet to see a military base in Houston.
Yeah.
So what if anybody came to invade Houston by way of Galveston and the sea or whatever? Who's gonna, like, it sounds very, very familiar.
That's why I said that Wednesday, like, come and get us, please, because America is so thin, man. They like ancient Rome. They ready. They left their armies and everywhere else but home.
Heathens know it though. This Filipino got on my job. Mm-hmm. He tried to clown me, saying I'm Amish and stuff like that. When we get to talk about history, they look like some dummies. But he was talking to me. I was like, because I was reading. He had, I was listening to the audio book of this is like a month or two ago. But I was like, wow, even the heathens know. I was listening to the client of the book from Edward Gibbon, and it's on the app for free. He was like, what you listen to? I just told him, I was like, yeah, I like to study about the Roman history. You'd be surprised at what the similarities are to like America. I was just like kind of like throwing like a little bait to see what he's gonna say. He's like, yeah, dude, this is the rebirth of the Roman Empire. Like you saying like it's common knowledge, but in school, we weren't taught that, so it was like learn this in the truth. He told me, he's like, bro, this is the Roman Empire revived.
Yeah, they just don't want to admit it because they know Rome was disgusting as hell, man. Look at this. Where you're on verse 17, did you read 18? Read verse 18 one more time.
2nd Esdras chapter 12, verse 18. That after the time of the kingdom, there shall arise great strivings, and it shall stand in peril of falling. Nevertheless, it shall not then fall, but shall be restored again to its beginning.
Right, so when it says stand and fall, and this is talking about pertinax. Pertinax. All right. give you this, the whole story the right way, so y'all got it clear. Pertinax was in 193. He was taken down by Praetorian Guard. All right. So in 193 AD, Pertinax, Pertinax, was taken down by the Praetorian Guard.
Can you spell? You saying
Pertinax.
I got that. You say he was taken down by who?
The Praetorian Guard. Praetorian.
Okay.
Y'all got that? All right. So this happened in 193 AD. So the Praetorian Guard would have been up under who?
The emperor.
Ottoman Turk.
Nope. Septimius Severus. Remember 193. 193 to 1453 is going to give you the time of the Dark Ages, or what they call the Byzantine Empire. Byzantine Empire. Byzantine.
What are some good books? I was on Amazon trying to look up some books on the Byzantine Empire. I be looking at the covers and it just be pissing me off because the covers will show you like if it's not going to show you the art because that was like a great time of like the infrastructure and stuff was like renowned. Because I know a girl she graduated like from PV like with architecture, so they studied the Byzantine Empire. But if you look at the books, most of them have like an image of like an Edomite, and I'm like, man, that's. So I want to.
They expect that.
But what I'm saying, what books are like credible? Like
they're gonna have the image on the front, but the words you gotta read the words.
You can look the Voron name.
What is it called?
Voron.
Can you spell that?
VORONET.
VORNAET.
VORONET.
Okay.
That was in Romania.
Okay.
VORONAT.
ET.
ET.
Yeah, Voronat.
VORONET.
Yeah, they got a lot of look at them pictures.
Okay.
Ooh.
Alright. So you got a lot of anything you're gonna look up for the Dark Ages, the Byzantine Empire, like I said. Again, you're gonna see the pictures, you're gonna see the images, right? And then there's a mountain of information on each one that you can go on the internet and show and say the original image of, and then type in whatever artwork it's called. And a lot of times they'll pop up the original image. It'll be a dark-skinned person.
Because even with Septimius Severus, they have the bust.
Mm-hmm.
But the bust, it has curly hair, but it looks like an Edomite.
Yeah.
Like a straight, like a Jewish Edomite or something like that.
Yeah.
So
Well, you look at a lot of the paintings. A lot of paintings are black. You know what I mean? Or the coin. Try to find anything with the coins that they minted at his time, and it'll be a black man.
Was he a gladiator?
This right here, I gotta remember that.
Septimius.
Because I know there's a few that went from gladiator to that. But I think this one he was a member of the Praetorian Guard.
No, I'm saying Septimius Severus. Was he a gladiator? I heard that somewhere. I'm not sure.
It is going out of my head right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta go look him up again. For what we have now, we're finding out that it was taken down by the Praetorian Guard, who auctioned Rome off to Didius Julianus. All right, so there's that name again, Didius Julianus, right?
You said Rome was auctioned off?
Yeah. So yeah, Septimius Severus, he wasn't in the Praetorian Guard. The Praetorian Guard took it, they auctioned it off. Who was that one that took it from? I said the name earlier.
Pertinax.
Pertinax. The Praetorian Guard took it from Pertinax. They auctioned it off to Julianus, to Didius Julianus, right? Then he auctioned it off. They doing this for money. They passing Rome around for money, right? Like a whore.
That was Septimius that
Right, he auctioned it off to Septimius Severus, and this was the start of the Dark Ages. And that's where the eagle fell. That's where the eagle almost fell.
So
all right?
Septimius didn't get it by like a war. He actually auctioned it off.
When you deal with that Roman Empire, you was dealing with auction and war. You was dealing with that bribery and treachery, man. You know what I mean? You was dealing with a cat having a whole army and then saying, I'm going to pay you this much. What you think? While his army's standing behind him. You know what I mean? Like, I'll take it. You know what I mean? So you gotta know the climate of ancient Rome. You know what I mean? Everything was by force. If you had the greater force, you got the best bid. Y'all see that? So that's where the eagle almost fell right there. That's where it says, but it says it was restored again, right? In 12 verse 18.
God. Restored again to its beginning.
Yeah, it'll be restored again as to its beginning. This was the Renaissance. All right? This happened in like 1453 AD. So almost 1,000 years later. A little more than 1,000 years later. All right, y'all caught up there? So all the provinces that were once under the Roman Empire, they became empires themselves. So like the British Empire, right? That was just like a state. That was like a little province. But because of the auctioning off and the gaining of power by military forces, Britain became its own little country. Y'all see that? This is part of the Roman Empire, though. What's another one? You had Britain. You had Austria. Hungary, right? The Austro-Hungarian Empire. These became empires by Rome being auctioned off. These are all pieces of the eagle. Y'all see that? So historically, you're seeing that the eagle got broke down in pieces. That's why the heads got to talk to the feathers. They know they're still family. They know they're still the same people. But they live in different lands. All right? So when we say those are the Edomites, the so-called white man, we're like, yeah. But we're not just talking about, America thinks of them as, oh, they're Scottish, oh, they're British, oh, those are different peoples. No, they're not. Those are white people that moved over there. That's Tim and Al from Home Improvement on two different sides of the fence, but they both white men. And you just can't see Al's face. Right? What's that?
It's like Australia. Them Edomites or whatever. Those were criminals in Britain that they sent over there as a punishment, and all they did was go to the land and rape and rob and kill everybody and take it over. And now you got Steve Irwin when you think of Australia.
Right.
When they're really like, what's that guy, Paddy Mills that plays for the Spurs? He's an Aboriginal of Australia. But when you think of Australia on TV, you think Steve Irwin, some guy playing with crocodiles and stuff.
Yeah. You think of the so-called white man, some man that turns red in the sun, being over there talking about crikey and throwing a boomerang, right? But look at you don't think about America. America is a branch off of Britain. It's a bunch of British people that came over here across the ocean, right? And they established this territory. So your George Washingtons, the first few presidents, Thomas Jefferson, people like that, they weren't talking like you. Yeah. They were talking like British, because they're Britons. They're Britons.
Can I say one thing?
Huh?
That movie, Gangs of New York.
Right.
They're talking like that on there.
Exactly. Because they're coming over there, establishing. They're Britain. They're British people. They're the eagle. But they move across the water, and now you call them American like they're a whole different nationality. Oh no, I'm not English. I'm American. Nigga, you speaking English? It's from England. Your forefathers are from England, which is a descendant of the bastard Roman Empire. You're just an auctioned off piece of the Roman Empire. See, we're learning all these things now that this is why it's saying that it's an eagle with these feathers. All the feathers was getting plucked off and auctioned off. But they still the same eagle. Y'all see that? All right, so all the pieces are starting to come together now. So you have the British Empire, the Austro-Hungarian Empire. The Austro-Hungarian Empire from 15th to the 19th century. All right, the provinces, those provinces all warred for supremacy. All right, so that's why, we had that list before when we broke down chapter 11, right? We had the list of, okay, the Austro-Hungarian Empire was from this time to this time, but at the same time, you got the Portuguese Empire from this time to that time, and at the same time, you got the French Empire from this time to that time. This is all Rome. Y'all see that? It's all broke up pieces of Rome, and they all was warring for supremacy of Europe. But when you see those end times that we had like from what? Let me go back to that. You had those cutoff times, right? Looking at the wrong part. Oh. I can't find it. Who got the notes from Wednesday? You got it?
Depends on what you're looking for. Right? You said cutoff times?
Yeah. When we had those like when we went through the 8 feathers.
Oh.
That should make it easier for you. The 8 feathers. When we dealt with the 8 feathers.
It was Austro-Hungarian. That was 1867 to 1918.
Right. So those cutoff times, 1867 to 1918, doesn't mean Austria and Hungary don't exist anymore. It means that at 1918 they stopped having to fight for their land. They were established as Hungary. They were established as Austria. Y'all see that? All right, so I'm reiterating what I talked about in chapter 11, because what you're seeing here is all these were fighting for supremacy. They was fighting for their lands at this time. All right, so at the time that you're reading 2 Esdras chapter 12, verse 18, this time they're all fighting for their piece of the pie. All right? Huh? All right. So let's go back.
That was at verse 20.
So you read verse 18, right? I want you to go to Revelation chapter 13, verse 1 and 2. Because see now, if we've had these Revelations breakdowns, which we're going to go more into, but if you've been watching those Revelations breakdowns, the Daniel breakdown, the Zechariah breakdown, all these start tying together. All right, so when you take really good notes and you go back and you really get to study and you want to study your history and you want to study what's going to happen, you want to become wiser than Daniel, you're going to put all these classes together and something's going to click. Something's going to click to you. It's going to be like, there's no way to deny what that brother was saying. There's no way to deny what these brothers are teaching. Y'all see that? Read that.
Revelation chapter 13, verse 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7.
So now I'm seeing another beast rising up out of the sea, right? So this beast is going to represent a kingdom, right? And he's coming out from the sea. He comes out from among the people. And we'll go into that when we do the Revelation breakdown too. That's all proven through scriptures. All right. Go ahead.
Having 7 heads and 10 horns.
So this beast had 7 heads and 10 horns. Now I'm freaked out, right? Because church told me this was some big ass dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns was gonna gore everybody, eat everybody, and everything like that, right? You was scared of this thing under your bed. right? But let's let the scriptures clarify. Verse 2.
Verse 2.
You read it?
I didn't read the whole verse 1.
Go ahead, read on.
And upon his horns 10 crowns.
So he had on his heads 10 crowns, right?
And upon his heads the name of blasphemy. Verse 2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard.
The beast that he saw was like a leopard. So this is talking about 333 BC, which is the rise of the Greek Empire.
Alexander the Great.
Under Alexander the Great. If you know about Alexander the Great, if you can pull up an image of him, more than likely he's going to have a leopard skin cap. He's going to have a damn leopard stuck on his head. Like that's the reason he was doing that was because of the swiftness and speed of the leopard. Alexander the Great conquered the whole known world at that time of Europe and parts of Asia and parts of Africa in 12 years. No other general before him had conquered that much land in that much time. Matter of fact, every general, every Roman, everybody after him, even America, has been trying to attain to the quickness and speed that Alexander the Great conquered that much land in his time. He did it in 12 years. All right? So you got Alexander the Great in 333 BC. That's who the leopard represents. Were you able to find an image of that?
I found the image of Alexander the Great, but not with the leopard.
Let me know if you find something with that, cause that.
Yeah, I found something.
You got it? But that was his image, was to appear as, as the leopard because of that speed and quickness. So this was the Edomite nation, this beast that came out to sea that appeared like a leopard represented the Greek nation under, of course, the Edomite Empire. This is part of the Edomite Empire, but known as the Greeks, branded as the Greeks. All right? Go ahead.
And his feet were as the feet of a bear.
All right, so this is not the Persians. A lot of people be, oh, that's the Persians and stuff like that. No. The feet, the head, the start of it was the Greek Empire. The end of it is going to be the 3 hands. This one's the Russian Empire. All through the 80s, all through the Cold War, when you was hearing about the Russians, you was hearing about the Russian bear, right? When you look at a flag or something like that, or a depiction of the Russians, they always put them with their symbol as the bear. All right, so if you find any of those images, go ahead and put those up. We need all those images coming up. All right, so we got the first one, the first piece. He appeared as a leopard, right? With feet as a bear. Go ahead.
And his mouth as the mouth of a lion.
And his mouth was as the mouth of a lion. That's the British aspect. All right? That's the mouth where the orders came from. Now, this is in Revelations. That's the British aspect, where the orders was coming from. All the orders was coming from Britain. They established themselves as one of the greater feathers of the Roman Empire, of the deceased Roman Empire. When Rome fell, in the auctions, the auctioned off lands were going on, Britain became one of the greater pieces to rule over Europe. All right, they became one of the greater pieces of the defunct Roman Empire. Let me know if I lost you. All right. Go ahead.
And the dragon gave him his power.
And the dragon gave the beast his power. So the Edomite kingdom is being literally set up by Satan, who works through the banking families. All right? So Satan works through that money. The love of money is the root of all evil. Ain't that what the scripture say? Who loves money more than these banking families, man? The Rothschilds, the Bilderbergs. Right? They're the ones that are setting up these nations. They're the ones that are setting up all this wickedness. And Satan's giving them that power. He's literally gave it to him. It was in his hands. Just like when he tempted Christ, right? Matthew 4? Matthew 4? Mark 4.
Matthew 4.
Matthew 4. When he tempted Christ, he said, all these things will I give you, right? Because they were his. That was his kingdoms to give to Christ. Christ said, no, I don't need that. You worship only the Most High, and that's it. Well, somebody else took the deal. The white man took the deal. Y'all see that? When Satan offered it to them, yeah. All you got to do is set up banks. Set up central banks everywhere. Make these idiots work for that shiny money. And they'll do it. They'll kill each other for that. Y'all see that?
And it's fake.
Yeah.
Even the credit system is fake. Your social security number is a bank account number ran by the global elites. And what they do is, when you pay for something, if you look at your actual car loan, it's going to say you already paid it off. Why? Because your bank account number, social security number already covered it. So how they get their money is you pay the interest on that, and they make money off the interest, and they sell off all that information to other countries to so-called pay off the debt, but the debt is too high, you can't pay it off. So you basically, all the credit and stuff is a big scam. You just property.
You go real deep for them. You go real deep for them. This class will be deep enough, man. Like I said, I know all that, and I know exactly what you're talking about, but this class is already going like that. You know what I mean? It's going to take a couple rewinds to get it all soaked in. So, you know, without going into all the other, you know, you can read books like Fruits from a Poisonous Tree. You can read, you know, it's like Escaping the Matrix or something like that. It's like 500 pages. But they'll tell you all about how these banking systems set themselves up, man. It goes all the way back to ancient Babylon, man. This wickedness has been around for a long time.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Just one thing for people to look up, also kind of going off of what Mark was saying, is look up straw man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I said that the Escaping the Matrix, that's got all that in there, man. How to change your straw man, you know, and you go too far into it, you think you go. That's why I already covered this Wednesday. Was you go too far into it, you think you're gonna be waving a piece of paper at Esau talking about video free. Hell no, they're gonna blast through the paper and blow your brains out.
That don't mean that.
All right, if that paperwork don't mean nothing to it. Read verse 3.
Revelation chapter 13, verse 3. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death.
Right, so this is talking about the Roman Empire. It looked like when it fell and it was auctioned off, it looked like it was done. When Septimius Severus took over, that's what they called it the Dark Ages. And it was sleep. Rome was asleep. Rome was dead. Right? They considered Rome dead to them. But then when the Ottoman Turks took it over in 1453 AD, that's when the Renaissance period, the rebirth came. That's what Renaissance means. The rebirth. That's the so-called white man getting his little territories back and trying to grow up and establish himself as a world power again. Y'all see that? So when that head was wounded unto death, and then what?
And his deadly wound was healed.
And his deadly wound was healed. That's the Renaissance period when they healed back, when they came back into power. You understand? Revelation 17 verse 1. You're going to read from verse 3.
Revelation chapter 17 verse 1. And there came one of the 7 angels, which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Verse 2. With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and in the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Verse 3. So he carried me away in the spirit unto the wilderness. And I saw...
So you wondering what the hell is going on in Revelation chapter 13? This is part of it right here. He's going to show you about America. He's going to show you about this great whore that sits on many waters. It's in everybody's business. All right? Go ahead.
And I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
Now check this out. Look up the European Union symbol. The symbol of the EU. The symbol of the European Union. See if it's the same symbol that they was using in the 80s. Read that again. Verse 3.
Verse 3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy.
Full of names of blasphemy. Go ahead.
Having 7 heads and 10 horns.
Right. What you get, sis?
Got stars in a circle. Is that right?
You know what? Look up Europa. See if it pops up under there. They be trying to bury this stuff, man. When I was first in the truth, I would look this stuff up, boom, it pop up right there. 20 images.
It's still the same thing, just stars in a circle.
Now it's stars in a circle, huh? Wow. They do it like that. Let me see if I can find it in here. And I'll send it to you. The internet's too slow. Okay. Yeah, it's not even letting me pull it up. The original symbol, which you would see under when you looked up Europa, you will see this butt-naked woman sitting on this beast that we're reading about in Revelation. Huh? What you got? What you got?
It's a blue picture with stars around it, and there's a woman on top of the beast.
That should be one of them. Yeah. That should be one of them. Again, if I'm trying to find, I think it's actually a statue outside the European Union.
It is.
You found it?
I got it. This is it. Is that it?
There she is. There she is.
Yep, that's it. What you just got.
This just has a bull though, right? You got the bull, only 2 horns, and all this crap around her. But it said in the scripture, it tells you what? Read it again.
Verse 3.
Read that.
And I saw one of it. Oh no, I'm sorry. Verse 7.
You were 13, verse 3, right?
17.
Oh, right.
So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast.
Right, so when you look at this, the flag is scarlet-colored, right, or purple. Go ahead.
Full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
Right, it just has her with a bunch of stuff on top of this bull, but it got all these little flags up under her. She's sitting on all these little flags. Go ahead.
Verse 4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color.
So on here you got the flag in purple, right? With the headband and you know, stuff like that. But she's sitting on all these flags. Go ahead.
And decked with gold and precious stone and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication.
Right, and that's the symbol of it. That's the symbol of this, man. It says Time Magazine, United Europe, Europa Riding the Beast. That's actually the name of that damn thing. Europa Riding the Beast. How the hell can you not see that? How do you see this work of art, a woman riding a beast with a damn purple damn flag, sitting on a bunch of flags, and not think of this? Y'all see that? They modeled the damn thing after what you just read in Revelation. It don't even make sense to try to go any other way through that. You can pass that around if they ain't seen it yet. Did it pop up on there?
Mm-hmm.
Were you able to get it?
Hi.
Good. So we're reading the scriptures and we're looking at the symbols. You saw it, you so-called white man. Come on, man. Let's stop, you know. Where you at?
Verse 5.
Where?
Verse 5. Revelation 17, verse 5.
Jump to verse 7.
Revelation chapter 17, verse 7.
So what you're reading in Revelation 1 through 5, you're reading about the same beasts, the same things, the exact same descriptions that you're reading about in 2 Esdras 12, that you're reading in Revelation 13, Revelation 17, Revelation 20. All these are talking about the same thing. You understand? But that's the thing, is that Revelations, that wasn't revealed to Daniel. Some things in Esdras weren't revealed until John the Revelator. So you get to get more wisdom than Esdras when you get the Revelation breakdown. Who got more wisdom than Daniel? Y'all see that? Yeah. Let's get
verse 7.
Yeah.
And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns. Verse 8. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit.
Right, so the beast, what does the beast represent?
European Union.
It represents a kingdom, right? It represents a kingdom. So this kingdom, see, what he does is he keep it vague and then he get real specific for you, right? It's a beast which represents a kingdom. Which kingdom? This one, read. He said he's going to ascend out of the bottomless pit, right?
And go into perdition.
And he'll go into perdition. The bottomless pit is not some demonic hellhole that you watch on the movies where people get sucked in and they're never seen again and they die screaming. All right? It's not that. The bottomless pit is Europe. They didn't have no natural resources. Putting money into Europe is like throwing your money in the hole. All right? Because there is no natural resource there. They got to have everything shipped in. There ain't no oil there. There's no natural gold stores there in abundance, right? They've got a little copper here, a little brass there, a little bit of precious metals here and there, but not enough to survive as a nation or even as a continent. You understand? So that's why it's known as the bottomless pit. That's why they try to get everybody else's. That's why they always try to enlarge their borders as hell and as death. They're always trying to get, again, Venezuela, Trinidad. Go to any of these Central South American countries, you got all them get oil wells put in them, right? Because why? We got to ship this back to Europe. Europe needs it. Europe ain't got it. Y'all see that? All right. But they use America as their club to beat over everybody over the head to get their things. So y'all with me on that? Go back. 2 Esdras 12 verse 18. Trying to get through it quick. What time is it?
Good.
Yep.
Second Esdras chapter 12 verse 18.
All right.
That after the time of that kingdom there shall arise great strivings, and it shall stand in peril of falling. Nevertheless, it's failing.
Read again.
I got failing.
It'll stand in great peril of falling, right?
Failing. Right. I'm wrong.
Second Esdras chapter 12 and verse 18. That after the time of that kingdom there shall arise great strivings, and it shall stand in peril of falling.
Right.
Nevertheless, it shall not then fall, but shall be restored again to his beginning.
Right. So we're looking at again the fall of the Roman Empire and the restoration, the Renaissance, right? The Dark Ages and then the Renaissance that followed. Go ahead.
And whereas thou sawest the 8 small under feathers sticking to her wings. This is the interpretation, that in him there shall arise 8 kings, whose time
What
shall...
verse you at?
Verse 20, sir.
Oh, okay. Read 18 again.
That after the time of that kingdom there shall arise great, and it shall stand in peril of falling.
Right.
Nevertheless, it shall not then fall, but shall be restored again to his beginning.
Right. Now read Revelation 17, verse 8.
Revelations chapter 17 and verse 8.
This is going to go right with that.
The beast that thou sawest was and is not.
See that? It was and now it's not, right?
Good.
Go ahead.
And shall ascend out of the bottomless pit.
So it came out of that pit. It came out of them Caucasus Mountains. It came up out of Europe.
Right.
Go ahead.
And go into perdition.
Right. But then it got, that's when it got put down in 193 by Septimius Severus, right? So it went into that bottomless pit. Go ahead.
And they that dwell on the earth, shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life.
See, and if the only ones that was really trying to check on that and find out what happened to Rome was people that they weren't the Most High, they called it. Y'all see that? And that's why they called the whole time the Dark Ages, because nobody was really trying to check on the white people. It was like, hey, black people ruling. This the Dark Ages. Y'all see that? Other places other people call that time the Age of Enlightenment, though. they call that time between that time and the Renaissance. They call it Enlightenment, because that's when they started forming colleges. That's when they started coincidentally forming all these great educational places, roads, and all these Cambridge and all this stuff like that. They started forming all those, and they had black scholars over there. Y'all see that? So that beast that says he was and is not. This is the same thing we're reading about in 2nd Esdras chapter 12, verse 18. All right, so we're looking at France, who equals the Gauls. All right, they were known as the Gauls. When they came into power, they became France.
What was the original name?
Gaul, G-A-U-L.
The Gauls.
All right. Yeah. Then you got Belgium. And they'd be known as the Belgian Gauls because you had basically the Gauls are split up. Again, these are all names Esau calling themselves. Oh, we're Belgians now. Oh, we're Gauls now. Oh, we're Visigoths now. These are different names they would take on as they would conquer these originally black nations. All right?
I was going to say, I thought the Gauls were originally black because the Gauls, they were actually gladiators as well.
Yeah.
I think Crixus was a Gaul, if I'm not mistaken. In the Gaulish language, the word Crixus means one with curly hair.
There you go.
And that was the guy, the right-hand man of Spartacus, that almost took down the Roman Empire during the time of Pompey and Crassus and Julius Caesar.
See, I watched the show, so I know what you're talking about, but I didn't read all of that, all the details of that.
After I watched the show, I started reading into it. I was like, this is an interesting story, and without all the faggotry they put in the show, I wanted to see exactly what's going on.
Right.
Yeah, I read about it. Like, Crixus actually means one with curly hair in the Gallic language.
Hey, okay. All right.
They bit off everything else, so why not bite off names too?
Ain't no, it's not gonna be no Edomite gladiator too.
Well, when you read Josephus, he tells you that's what they would do. They would go back and they would rename things and make it sound more intelligible to them and make themselves seem as if they were the originators of all of that. Y'all see that? So they would go back into history books. They would go back into paintings, and they were always doing that. That was going on at the time of Josephus and before. That they would go in and okay, you know what? We're going to make ourselves the people of antiquity. Who was Noah? He was a white man. Who was anybody? You know, who's the king of Egypt at the time? Who was Ramses II? Oh, he was white too.
They call it
Just
like,
like they do today. What's that?
they call it iconoclasm. That was the sophisticated word they gave it.
Iconoclasm.
Yeah.
Right. Whitewashing.
Basically.
Where we at?
Go to Revelation or Esdras?
It was in the 70s.
Oh, right. I was giving you the last one. You got France, then you had Belgium, which was the same, equals the Belgian Gauls, and then you had Spain, which was before known as España. So this is how they started re-emerging. They started forming these nations. Revelations 17, verse 8.
Revelations chapter 17 and verse 8, third precept, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold, the beast that was, and is not, and yet is. Verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
And here is the mind which had wisdom.
Now that's it on that.
I got a question.
Yeah.
In verse 8, is that basically also telling you that, also cutting the theory that Esau can be saved, whose names were not written in the book of life? And it's talking about the beast. The beast was the Edomite nations. Is that also kind of like saying that, salvation is not for them? Because it says whose names were not written in the book of life.
Right. Again, I say it like this, man. The Most High is going to decide who he's going to take the remnant. Remember, you still got the remnant of the nations is going to be there, right? When you deal with the remnant, that means it's going. When he says there's not going to be none remaining of the house, when he says there's going to be a remnant, that means like if you had a whole household, wife, 20 kids, right? One of your kids might make it. So really, there's none remaining in you. Ain't nothing left of your household. Ain't nothing left of your power. You see that? But you got a kid that's now serving whoever slaughtered the rest of your family. They ain't nothing remaining of them. You see that? Let's see. That's what I wanted. 20 verse 1 and through verse 2, and then we'll end it there.
Revelation chapter 20, verse 1. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit, and a great chain in his hand. Verse 2. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years.
All right, I want you to read that again a little slower. Because we read these things and we're like, what does this mean? But we've gone over it. So I'll see if any of y'all have been, the scripture's going to see if y'all been listening. Read it again.
And I saw an angel come down from heaven.
So I saw this angel come down from heaven. Remember, angel don't always represent the heavenly beings. All right?
Good.
Or represent a spirit that come down to deal with some person. Go ahead.
Having the key of the bottomless pit.
He had the key to the bottomless pit. What's the bottomless pit again? Europe, right? So this man had the key, like you get the key to the city. Like the mayor, right? He was ruling. So he had the key to the bottomless pit. Go ahead.
And a great chain in his hand.
And he had a great chain in his hand. Go ahead.
And he laid hold on the dragon.
He laid hold on the dragon, which is who?
The Edomite.
Right, the Edomite Empire. Go ahead.
That old serpent.
Right, that old serpent. Remember, who's running the Edomite Empire? Satan. Watch, he's going to say it. Watch, read.
Which is the devil and Satan.
He said that old serpent, right? That old serpent, which is the devil and Satan. So if you don't know who the devil is, that's their representative on earth. That's his representative on earth. All right? He laid hold of the devil and Satan. Go ahead.
And bound him 1,000 years.
And he bound him how long?
1,000 years.
So who are we talking about?
Septimius Severus.
There you go. He ruled Europe. He had the key to the bottomless pit to Europe for 1,000 years, from 193 AD to 1453 AD. Y'all seeing it?
God.
Pieces starting to clink together a little bit.
God.
As you study, you go over it a few times, it'll be like, oh, damn. You start getting them epiphanies, man. Go ahead.
Verse 3.
That was it?
God.
All right. So we'll end it. Appreciate y'all joining us. Next time I gotta cut the question and answer a little shorter. Cause yeah, we still got a couple more pages worth of notes to go through. It's like a page and a half. But yeah, it's gonna start to, again, put more of the pieces together, make it a little less confusing. By clearing up and tying it to Revelation, by tying it to Daniel, by tying it back to 2nd Esdras 11, all right? Questions again, save them for tomorrow. Tomorrow we have Sabbath class, Sabbath ceremony. All right, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We'll be on ISBHBK on YouTube. If you got any questions, comments, anything like that, you can call or text between now and then, 832-941-2443, or any of the numbers she puts on the screen there. If you got any donations, again, you can send those to the school account, Wells Fargo account number. What was that? Yeah, 101-580-6167. All right. So and that'll help out with any monetary donations. You can send it to that Wells Fargo account number. If it's any other donations, clothes, books, cars, anything like that, that'll help the educational process. Your people, help us get around, help us be able to pick up brothers and sisters, like buses or anything like that. Canned goods we can distribute to the poor and needy. You can send that to any of the school addresses that she puts on the screen there. But with that, we're going to say shalom, and we'll see y'all tomorrow morning, all right?
Shalom. Shalom. Man, that could be like a 5 or 6 hour class, easy.
3 hours Wednesday, 3 hours Saturday. A little over 3 hours.
That's true.
I think it was a straight.
Jesus is real, but you devils taught lies on Christ. So many lies that when we come with the truth, people think that the lies is the truth and that the truth is the lie.
Who changed the truth for God into a lie? In English, Jesus Christ, in Hebrew, is Yahweh Shai. So do or die. The Immaculate Conception is deception, along with the myth of giving gifts on December 25th. Christmas is Satan's clause, the birth of Nimrod, and not the Son of God. To you was kind of odd. On the Passover, Christ was born in the spring. So now we bring the truth about the King of Kings. That's Black Jesus and not Caesar Borgias. And the facts can't be changed. It's all about the Most High.